Mae e wedi gwneud ei benderfyniad. A does neb yn gallu dadlau ag e.
Screwfix Sprint, yn noddi pêl-droed ar S4C.
Croeso ato ni a chroeso I faes tegid, lle wedi 2 gêm gynta'r tymor, falle bod e'n bach o syndod I weld y ddau dîm yma mor agos at wilod y tabl, gyda'r Bala a'r Dre Newydd yn chwilio am I buddugoliaethau cyntaf o'r tymor. Ie, y Bala yn erbyn y Dre Newydd yn fyw ar lein heno. Mae'r haul yn machlyd dros y Bala, ond I ni'n barod I fynd fan hyn ar sgorio. Ac yn cadw cwmni I fi yw Wayne Phillips. Wayne, braf iawn cael eich cwmni chi heno. Chi'n cadw'n iawn?
Cadw'n iawn, Siona, diolch I ti.
Nawr, beth am hon? Achos 2 glwb gath gymaint o lwyddiant tymor diwetha, 2 glwb nath cynrychioli Cymru yn Ewrop dros yr haf, ond 2 glwb sydd heb danio eto, Wayne.
Ia, fydd y 2 dîm yn siomedig iawn efo'r canlyniadau o penwythnos diwetha. Y Dre Newydd wedi dechrau'r tymor yn dda iawn, pwynt yn ebyn y Seint Newydd, ond yn andisgwl chydig bach, colli yn ebyn Flint Gart wsos yn ôl, ac rhywun peth efo'r Bala. Ar ôl colli y gêm gyntaf, so nhw wedi gobeithio tar yn ôl sad yn diwetha, ond pwynt yn unig yma yn ebyn Hwylffordd, felly na mond trydydd gêm o'r tymor, mae o'n gêm bwysig i'r 2 ohonyn nhw, mor pwysig a be mae'r gêm ar diwedd y tymor, felly noson pwysig iawn i'r 2 dîm.
Ie, fe wedys ti, mae'n gynnar iawn, ond I ni'n cael ei teimlad bod eitha lot yn y fantol heno. Nawr I ni'n fyw yma o faes tegid heno yma, ond y gêm arall, y Seintiau Newydd yn erbyn Cey Cona. Craig Harrison yn wynebu ei hen glwb am y tro cynta a Wayne am gêm, a gall hwnna fod yn ganlyniad eitha ar oedd y cael heno.
Bydd i'n ipyn o gêm, fydd Craig Harrison yn wynebu y hogia mae wedi gweithio efo am y blwyddyn I 2 diwetha. Fydd o'n gwybod digon amdano nhw I feddwl fydd I dîm o'n gallu mynd allan a gael y 3 phwynt. Wel I Cey Cona yn craddu buddugoliaeth yn ebyn ebys wsos yn ôl. Mike Wild yn penio y 3 phwynt I Cey Cona, ond o'n i'm yn gweld digon yn tîm Cey Cona I meddwl fydden nhw'n gallu mynd yna ac achosi problemau i'r Seintiau Newydd heno. Felly dwi'n gweld y 2 tîm sy'n chwarae gartre yn ennill heno.
Ie, a mae rai Wayne, ni newydd weld y tabl fyna. Wayne, bydd lot o bobl heb ddisgwyl gweld Met Caerdydd ar frig y tabl ar ddechrau'r tymor.
Na, Flint hefyd. Flint, 6 phwynt I Flint hefyd, ac neb di disgwyl hynny yn Flint. Lee Fowler di dod I mewn, ac di gorau adeiladu tîm newydd mewn ffordd. Rhan fwyaf o'r garfan o flwyddyn dwytha, di gadael am be bynnag oedd y resymau, ac mae rai camol y gwaith mae o di wneud. Er na mond 2 gêm o'r tymor sydd wedi mynd, ac rhywun peth efo Met. Garfan oedd yn ei le mewn ffordd. Mae'n newid I bod yn y reolwr, ond yr un garfan sy'n, ac mae'n neis gweld tîm newydd ar y brig. Y gobeithio ydy bod nhw yn ar diwedd y tymor.
Yn gwmws, o nôl at gêm heno, nawr mae bach o deja vu i'r Bala tymor yma. Siom yn Ewrop, dechreuad siomedig i'r tymor. Mae Colin Caton wedi bod yn siarad gyda Dylan Ebenezer.
Colin, I know it's very early in the season, but how keen are you to get that first win?
Yeah, 100%. We're trying to... Last season we played 3 and we only had 3 points out the first 3, so if we win today we'll be 1 point better off. So if we lose then obviously it's a worse start than last season, but not the end of the road. It's we've got a lot of injuries tonight and it's going to be a tough game. You know, the resources Newtown are throwing about now, it's going to be a tough game, but you know, one that we can have a go at if we turn up, which we haven't done in the last 2 games really.
Mentioned injuries, I was going to ask you about the squads. Got issues already early on in the season then?
Yeah, we've got a lot. Caden Smith's out injured, George Newell out injured, Paul Rutherford's out injured. And there's 1 or 2 lads playing with knocks tonight, which they've got to do really because the squad's so small. Brad Perez as well, Callum Woods is out injured. So yeah, we're strapped up a bit and taped up a bit and have a go.
That's the bad news, I guess. The good news is your previous record against Newtown. You've done so well with them against them recently. Does that give you confidence?
Yeah, we've done really well over the years against them, but still, you know, they've recruited well. And they're a lot stronger on paper, but it's, you know, we're strong on paper over the last 2 games, but on the Astro and on the pitch we haven't been good enough. So it's important that we address it and we play to our potential and play to the potential that the names are on that team sheet.
Ie, dyw record Bala yn erbyn y Dre Newydd ddim yn rhy ffôl. Nawr, Wayne, o ran y Bala, maen nhw wedi ildio gôl ym mhob gêm hyd yn hyn tymor yma, a mae'r goliau yna wedi bod yn eitha costus I nhw.
Yndi, fydd hynny yn siomedig iawn I Colin Caton achos I ennill unrhyw gêm mae rhaid I nhw tynau fyny yn y cefn ac dyna fydd o'n gobeithio heno. Mae Ross White I ddod I fewn un dwi'n nabod yn dda iawn ac fydd o I gwella'r garfan yma ond yn pwysig mwy na'n byd arall mae rhaid I nhw dechrau peidio ildio goliau os ydyn nhw am gael y 3 phwynt yn gema.
A Colin Caton yn sôn fyna am faint o anafiadau sydd gyda nhw. O bosib, dyna un o'r broblemau pan I chi wedi bod yn ware yn Ewrop, felly dyw'r garfan ddim mor ffres a be licech chi ar ddechrau'r tymor domestig?
Na, dio ddim yn hawdd pam ti'n colli rei o ser y tîm cyntaf mewn ffordd, a dyna beth sydd wedi digwydd I Colin heno. Ond be mae o'n neud ydi agor y drws I pobl sydd wedi bod yn eistedd ar y fainc, a mae yna gyfle I neu ddau yn dod I fewn heno I ddangos I Colin bod nhw eisiau fod yn y tîm, ond diw'r tîmau eraill ar wahân i'r Saint Newydd ddim mor ffodus I gallu cario garfan o 5 ar 20 neu rhywbeth, ond mi ddylsyn nhw fod digon da hefyd I ennill y gêm yma yn erbyn y Dre Newydd. Bod fi ddim yn hawdd, mae record nhw yn erbyn Dre Newydd dros y blynyddoedd diwethaf wedi bod yn da iawn, felly dwi'n mynd am y 3 phwynt i'r Bala heno.
Ac o ran y Dre Newydd, Wayne, dyn nhw ddim wedi sgorio gol eto tymor yma hefyd. Bydd hwnna'n becso Chris Hughes?
Fydd o'n poeni fo chydig bach. Dwi'n siŵr fydd yna gwaith wedi cael ei wneud ar y cae ymafer wythnos yma. Ond fydd o'n gwybod mae Chris wedi bod rownd digon hir rwan, reolwr digon o profiad. Fydd o'n gwybod unwaith mae un yn mynd I fewn. Mae nhw fatha bws Llundan. Mae nhw gyd yn llifo I fewn ac fydd o'n gobeithio bod un yn dod heno. I gwneud un gêm da iawn, da ni'n gobeithio am gêm da iawn, gêm go agos, ac gan I weld beth oedd yn y 90 o funud da.
Ni wedi sôn am y ffaith oedd y ddau glwb yma yn ware yn Ewrop dros yr haf. Ti'n credu bod bach o hangover Ewropeaidd gyda nhw o bosib?
Mae hynna'n ffactor mi ddylsa nhw fod o flaen y tîm eraill mewn ffordd achos maen nhw wedi dod at ei gilydd wsnosa cyn y lleill. Diolch fatha bod ni wedi cyrraedd diwedd y tymor lle maen nhw wedi blino. Mi ddylsa nhw fod yn ffres ac dwi'n meddwl jyst di mynd I fewn i'r tymor yn meddwl bod I am fod yn haws na be mae o wedi bod a wedyn maen nhw wedi cael rhyw... maen nhw'n gorau ail meddwl mewn ffordd ac fydd y ddau ohonyn nhw'n deud yn y stafell newid yn ewan bod I tymor nhw yn dechrau yma heno.
Wel, Wayne, diolch yn fawr am y tro. Nawr, rhywun sy'n gyfarwydd iawn ar ddau glwb yma yw Andy Morrison, sydd erbyn nawr yn rheoli'r tîm cenedlaethol mas yn Sri Lanka. Ni wedi hala Dylan Ebbs mas yna I gael sgwrs dy fe. Fi'n jocan, mae'r ddoi o nhw fan hyn y maes tegid heno. A mae Dylan Ebbs wedi bod yn cael gair gyda fe.
Well, Sean, edrych mlaen I sylwebu yn Saesneg heno. Dwi'n cael cwmni y gŵr yma. Andy was just saying, I'm looking forward to commentating in English with you tonight. Welcome back, I should say, as well. Sri Lanka national team manager now. How's things in Sri Lanka?
I'm enjoying it. Yeah, it's great. I'm been back for 6 weeks now. We had initial 7 weeks out there where we had the Asia qualifiers. I'm going back out on Sunday for probably 3 months. And then back for Christmas and then back out for qualifiers next February, April.
Brilliant. We're delighted to grab you then and drag you to Bala tonight for this game against Newtown. Have you been keeping an eye on developments in the Cymru Premier?
Of course, closely keep an eye on it. You know, 10 years of my life from the first initial 3 years at Airbus. We had a fabulous time, with 3 back-to-back European campaigns, and then 6 years at Connors Quay. So you can't spend that much time in your life and then not cast an eye across to see how things are going.
Totally. We'll have a chat about Connors Quay later on. They're playing TNS tonight. This one, both teams, I know it's early, 2 games, but both looking for their first win. Newtown haven't even scored yet. What do you make of their situation?
Well, it's a tough opener. I don't think when you look at the fixture list, you don't want to play TNS first game, and they did, and they got a great point. Probably expecting to kick on the following week, but then a little bit of an unknown entity in Flint maybe caught them on the hop a little bit. I watched the game, watched some of the highlights from it, and they dominated the game, but they scored at good times, Flint, and then you find yourself at Bala away, and that's what happens. It's very taxing week after week in the Welsh League.
Brilliant. Well, we're going to get ready for the English language commentary on the red button. I'm not Jonah, so I'm nervous already. Be gentle with me, that's all I'm going to say. Sioned, nôl at y ti.
Diolch, Del. Fel I ni di sôn fel y Bala, mae'r Dre Newydd hefyd yn chwilio am I buddugoliaeth cynta nhw o'r tymor, a maen nhw hefyd yn chwilio am I gôl gynta. Gat Dylan air gyda'r rheolwr Chris Hughes yn gynharach.
Chris, I've just asked Colin Caton exactly the same question. I haven't got any original questions. How keen are you to get that first win of the season under your belt?
Yeah, cool. Look, without stating the obvious, of course we want to win every game. I think that, the start we've had, obviously we had TNS first game and it was a really good performance without the ball. And then last week against Flint, we probably played okay with the ball, really. I think we had the most entries we've had in the couple of seasons in my time at the club into their box, most crosses into the box, just that little bit of care, a little bit of cutting edge in the last third. So in overall, the performance wasn't too bad. Probably got a little bit of a sucker punch. Obviously, we missed the penalty as well, which didn't help. But, in terms of the performance, it wasn't bad as the scoreline suggests. So, we've got to try and put that together tonight. The out of possession from TNS, the in possession from Flint, and tidy up on a few things. But we know it's a difficult place to come, obviously.
It's only 2 games, but is lack of goals worrying you as well?
No, not at all. No, look, we create chances. Like I said last week, we've had the most entries into the box, the most crosses we've had in the box for probably in the last 5 seasons of my time at the club. So, the stats are telling us that we're creating chances. We just need to take them today.
Second against third from last season, of course. What sort of challenge did Bala offer you when you come here to Maes Tegid?
Of course. Listen, we've had some good battles with them over the years. We pushed them close last year for second, but they got there in the end. We've both been in Europe in the summer. Both had decent experiences. Bala were very unlucky not to go through. We got through. So look, it's a tough game. Experienced manager, good players, but so have we. We've got good players as well, and we're looking forward to it.
Brilliant. Thanks for your time.
Cheers. Thank you. Thanks.
Chris Hughes yn barod amdani felly, ac i ni'n barod amdani fan hyn ar sgorio. Mae'n bryd i ni ymuno a'n time sylwebu ni yn y Saesneg, Dylan Ebenezer, Andy Morrison, ac yn y Gymraeg, Wayne Phillips a Bryn Thomas.
Here we go then, both teams ready to step onto the pitch here in Bala. Bala, home against Newtown. Craig Williams, Mr. Newtown, leading them out onto the pitch. Newtown in their familiar red kit, Bala in white and black. Both teams 2 games in, still looking for their first victory another season. Newtown looking for their first goals. As Sean had said, and as you've seen if you've been watching, I'm joined by Andy Morrison. Great to have you here, Andy. Looking forward to it?
I am. Absolute pleasure to be here, Dylan. And yeah, it's just a lovely place, Bala. Come down earlier on this afternoon, had a swim in the lake this afternoon, and then come along to the game tonight. And I've had some rough nights here over the years, and this is a beautiful, pleasant evening.
I was going to ask you about the lake. So you've been in the lake?
Yes, I had about 20 minutes in there. I always go down to the lake an hour over the years. Because I love it down there. It's a very therapeutic place. It's beautiful. And I went for a swim today, and I was surprised how warm it was. So I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Fantastic. There you go. Bit of insights before the game. Yeah, both teams. Anyway, a couple of changes from both teams. Bala 1-1 against Haverfordwest in their last game. So Kieran Smith and Paul Rutherford missing tonight. Ollie Southern comes in the first start for Luke Wall, and 2 changes for Newtown as well. Cowans and Hesden out, Nick Rushton and Theo Wharton come in. What do you make of the Bala lineup, Andy? Familiar names, I guess. A few new players have come in the summer. They've lost some goals over the summer. Will Evans got a new put. Dean Ebby as well, who's here on loan, not around, so they're missing a few goal scorers.
Ebby had a fantastic end to the season after the interval and scored a lot of goals. Obviously Luke Wall's come in. He went from Bangor a few years ago, had a good period and has been away from the league, but yeah, they've got a few injuries tonight. They've got a few players missing, so it's they'll be looking to get themselves up and running, but I really fancy Newtown tonight. I have to be honest, I really fancy them.
Interesting. And Louis Robles, a familiar name popping up for Newtown, used to be here with Bala. A few changes over the summer coming from Newtown to Bala, Naeem Arsan being one of them. The player merry-go-rounds in the Cymru Premier. And Louis Robles, good season for Bala. Slightly disappointing maybe last year with the new Saints. He'll have a point to prove, I'm sure, Andy.
Yeah, I think last year, obviously, McManus come in, Jordan Williams come in, and they played a lot of games. And Roberts didn't probably get the game time he wanted, but he's always scores goals. He's very good when he's back to play, brings people into play, and very dangerous in around the box. So he'll be a big threat tonight up top with Williams.
Nick Pratt, the man in the middle tonight. Lovely evening here in Bala, and off we go. 2 games in, both teams looking for that first win. Second against third last season as well. So competitive. And off we go straight away. Callum Roberts in possession for Newtown. Former Connors Key defender. Andy Morrison knowing him well, of course. as Newtown get a few early touches.
Yeah, interesting setup. It looks as though Newtown are going with a diamond with Williams and Robles up top with Rushton at the point of the diamond and Wharton to the left. Interesting. I didn't expect that tonight.
How quick do you or any manager? How quick do you realise the formation? What are you looking first few seconds? You're instantly
Absolutely.
looking.
Yeah. I mean, you'll normally have one of your staff will be looking at that. You're looking in detail. They should get back to you very quickly. I think it sets up there. You can see it now. We're rushing at the point of the diamond, Wharton to the left, and George Hughes down. So yeah, interesting. It'll cause a problem because I really rate the two strikers up top. I think they're excellent. I think Williams was introduced himself to the league last year and was superb. And
what a touch by Robles. Off they go. Rushton. Early chance for Newtown. Rushton on target as well. Ramsey got a hand to it. Great counter-attack from Newtown in the first minute.
Yeah, great movement. I think it's Robles has just put him into play with a great touch. And if you want anyone in that position, the one-on-one, he won't panic. He'll slow it down and just through the legs. And actually an excellent save from Ramsey early on.
Rushton last season, 11 goals all competitions, 10 assists. What a contribution for Newtown last season. Craig Williams will take the corner. There's a late run by Callum Roberts. Oh, they found him as well on the far post. A lovely corner by Newtown. Straight off the training ground, Andy.
Absolutely. Yeah, saw it earlier, but I think they just saw it in time, Bala, and dealt with it.
Well, Newtown, very lively start. Roberts in the middle of the action again. Bala under pressure. Dave Edwards settling things down. And Sutton back to Dave Jones. Well, 2 minutes in, Colin Caton must be stood there thinking, what's going on?
Yeah, great start. Maybe the shape has just caught Colin out a little bit, but he'll see that, and I'm sure there'll be changes made. There you go. The shape is perfectly clear there now on the pitch.
Off they go again. Craig Williams for Newtown. We've got the two players with the most appearances in the Cymru Premier playing tonight, of those that are still playing, that is. Craig Williams and Chris Venables. Nearly 1,000 appearances between them. Still going strong as well, both starting tonight. Sutton, such a familiar name in the middle of that Newtown defence. Sears, Ryan Sears. Both teams played in Europe as well this season. Bala very unlucky to lose on penalties against Sligo Rovers. They're looking for Williams over the top. Bala trying to clear Mendes, and they start to create. Dave Edwards in the team. Anything's possible. Anthony Kay in there as well. Ollie Southern starting tonight. Could hear Chris Venables shouting tempo. Trying to get his players into the game. Sutton getting there first. Such a battle. We're right on the side of the pitch here. You can see everything going on with the players. They're not holding back Robles. Roberts an option. He's been lively. And an option in these opening minutes.
Fantastic start for Newtown. Completely dominating the game, getting and causing all sorts of problems. Really important they get a shot off and make the keeper make a save at this point in the game.
Dave Edwards steps in. So much experience from Edwards. Sears away. Wharton, a new signing from Bala Town, starting for Newtown tonight. Southern being forced back.
I went to the game last week and then Connaskey against Airbus, and I was really pleased for the referee who let the game flow. And whether there's been instructions this year to stay away, you know, and make sure that it's a clear foul to give a foul, but it made for a great game and something that I believe has been maybe encouraged this year. And I think it's great for the game that we can go and play football. And you know, whenever it's a foul, we all know what a foul is. But when the game for a period of time, you know, over maybe the last few seasons has become quite passive. Really pleased to see it last week. Speaking to the referee before the game, I think that's the way the game will go again tonight.
Does seem to be the case on all levels. Bala First chance to threaten that Newtown goal. They've won a corner as well. Bala waking up. Yeah, it does seem to be an instruction across maybe all levels just to let the game flow, and I think everybody's enjoying it.
I think so. I mean, we come and watch a game of football, we don't want it to stop, and we're not talking. Everybody knows when a tackle is unacceptable. Everybody knows when it's a yellow card, it's clear, but the game went too far the other way.
Luke Wall, new signing, starting tonight with the corner. Jones comes out. Threat is still there. Everybody in the Newtown half at the minute. And Bala will be appreciating these few minutes. Here's the corner again. There's Pete coming in. He's got a great record.
Pete's exceptional in the air. You know, he's 6 foot, but he certainly jumps a lot. You know, he has a presence that is far greater than that height.
4 and 6 against Newtown as well. He's got some record.
Yep. And for me, that corner there, he was allowed to leap too high, too early. It wasn't blocked off. And I've been so impressed with him over the years. Very, very courageous as well.
6 minutes gone, goalless, but it's lively. I think Robles has felt that one.
Be interesting to see.
Bala players obviously don't agree.
No.
Let's have a look at this.
Oh, I think it's a good header.
Pete climbing.
I'm not sure what's happened there.
I was going to check. The play's carried on. No, they're coming back.
Oh, a head injury. He stopped it for the head injury rather than
there's
a
no
foul.
foul, just to stop for the head injury.
Yeah.
Oh, as you can see from that angle, there's a
clout on the back of the head. Yep.
Anthony Kay in there as well. 39 years old by now. Anthony Kay. So much experience. You can say that for a few of the Bala players. Nearly 600 games in the Football League from Kay. And Sutton gets a foot in. Bala seeing more of the ball. And as I said that even, Newtown nip in. Kay. The home team trying to get a foothold here as Venables climbs. There's offside flag. It's only 8 minutes gone, Andy. It's been a decent start for both teams.
Excellent. More so for Newtown. Been really impressed, but Bala just starting to feel the way back into the game now. Just watching Nick Rushton at the top of the diamond there. I had Nick 5 years ago at Connors Quay with us, and one of the best finishers I've worked with. Anticipation in around the box and awareness right at the very top. And it's just it's great to see him still scoring goals, and I've been one of his best seasons last year.
Well, as I said earlier, an outstanding season for Rushton last year. 11 goals, all competitions, 10 assists as well. Great contribution. Was on the bench in the last game against Flint. Bit of a shock defeat for Newtown. 2-0 at home against Flint. First game was a 0-0 draw against the New Saints. And down to 10 men in that game. Bala, on the other hand, lost their first game away to Pen-y-bont, 2-0. In the searing heat, there was that heat wave we had. We were in Pontypridd for the first game, Scorio, against Flint. 35 degrees. People are complaining that the players... well, it wasn't a great game. I'm not surprised in that heat. What's it like in Sri Lanka, Andy?
It's very humid.
I bet.
Yeah, it's very humid, and it's... but... You know, there's the monsoons out there at the moment, so you know, for the last couple of months there's been plenty of refreshment on the pitch with the rain, but yeah, it's certainly hot.
Another game happening tonight, I'm sure. Andy knows half the coaching staff here. TNS are meeting Connors Quay, so Craig Harrison's left Connors Quay to go back to the New Saints. Neil Gibson's in at Connors Quay after leaving Flint. 7 managerial changes this summer in this league, Andy. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's normally pretty solid, isn't it? But there's been changes, and of course, you know, I had Neil with me for 18 months. The year we won the cup, and we did really well in Europe, and you know, it seemed a natural progression for him, you know, to go in there. And Neil, if Neil's allowed to get on and do his job, and he's allowed to make all the important decisions, then they'll be fine. They'll do really well this year.
10 minutes gone, 0-0. Bala against Newtown, second against third last season. Bala were Only 1 point short of their biggest ever points tally last season. But still a long way behind the champions, 20 points behind the New Saints. And Newtown ending up in third, 8 points behind Bala and 8 points clear of Carnarvon in fourth as Ramsey watches this one. Decent season for Ramsey last season as well, 14 clean sheets. More or less half his games he kept a clean sheet. I'm sure any manager would be pleased with those sort of stats.
Yeah, he's been excellent now since he came in from Carnarvon. Been impressed with him, and I know he's a keeper that a few clubs would like to have in their squad.
A little late challenge, referee waves play on. Wharton, new signing from Bala Town, Callum Roberts, who's going to get there first. Southern's across.
That's a poor decision from Wharton. He's got to carry that another 15-20 yards, engage a player before he plays it. He's not made anybody do anything. It was a really, really good opportunity, and it's a poor decision.
Callum Roberts, a player you know well, Andy?
Yeah, great competitor, massive heart, great lad, and you know, he's come back into Newtown where it's familiar surroundings for him, and he's just slipped back straight in. One of the best left backs in the league for me. Chris Venables trying to put some pressure on the Newtown defence early on. Haven't seen much of Venables so far. 37 years old by now. It is striking how many of the Bala team are in their 30s. We'll see how that goes during a long season. Experience, that's what they'll say, I'm sure, especially when you get Dave Edwards in your side as he's trying to put pressure on Roberts. Wharton turns away from Kay, who's got all the experience in the world. Saw that one coming. Just a little bit too clever there, Kay, wasn't he? Read it and then got on the correct side.
Kay to Mendez, offside.
Yeah, but it's a great start from Sears and Sutton. They've worked together really well. That's 3 times now Bala have been offside, and that's come from communication. It's a massive part of the game to keep pressing and keep dropping and pressing, so you're working the strikers all the time, especially with somebody like Chris Venables, who, if he's able to set himself, he's very, very good with balls into his body.
George Hughes back to Sutton. They go back to Dave Jones. Newtown building from the back. Both teams looking for their first win. Newtown looking for their first goal. But they've had a lively start here as Williams finds Roberts. Wharton's an option. Roberts. Wharton again. Williams has carried on his run. There were red shirts waiting for it. Ramsey got there first.
It's a great bit of movement. Again, I'm not sure whether Theo should have gone on the outside of him. You know, let Robbo go on his own there and get in the box for the second ball that might drop in the edge of the box.
Ramsey blasts it out straight to Jake Walker. Newtown with Rushton. Trying to punish Bala. That kick by Ramsey, he's watching it all the way. No problem for the goalkeeper. A slight apology from the goalkeeper as well for the clearance. Williams missing a penalty against Flint. Didn't help the mood of Chris Hughes, the manager, I'm sure, in the last game, losing 2-0.
You know, it was a key moment in the game as well, wasn't it? I think it was on 57, was it? You know, you expect to come back into it then at that point, with how on top they were. It's a huge moment. Great movement from Robles again, that pulled off the shoulder there. He should have, yeah, no, it's poor. Great movement from Robles.
Former Connors Key manager Andy Morrison joining me, Dylan Ebenezer tonight in commentary. Bala at home to Newtown. And Bala threatening. Luke Wall, one of the new players from Widnes in the summer, a season with Bangor as well. Newtown comfortable, back to the goalkeeper. Interesting to see the guys that left Bala. Will Evans, we've mentioned, going to Newport. Dean Ebby was on loan anyway. Sean Smith has gone. Johnny Spittle's gone. Anthony Stevens has gone to Flint as well. They've brought in James Davis and Aimar Sant from Newtown. And a few other players. But well, familiar names leaving Bala in the summer, Andy.
Yeah, I think, you know, there's periods where you may need to freshen it up a little bit. And, you know, we don't know whether they were assured positions, because there's been some good players have come in. Will Evans is a huge miss, and he's done exceptional since he's gone into Newport. I've obviously followed that, because someone who's Will we've seen for 4 or 5 years, progression from Cardiff Met into Bala, and he's kicked on again. You know, did I see that as doing as well? Maybe not. I thought it might take a bit of time for him to integrate into that standard, but he's hit the ground running, doing fantastic.
There were 4 former Cymru Prem players in the Newtown team in the week in the Cup. Will Evans, Priestley Farquharson, who you know well, from Connors Quay. James Waite, who scored with Pen-y-bont. Bowen, who was in the league for a bit on loan from Cardiff as well. It's great to see the club like Newport giving them a chance. Newtown caught out there. Wharton carried it too far. Wall trying to punish them. Mendes, Venables waiting in the middle. It's going to be a corner for the home team.
You think you're going to get quality from Luke Wall on left foot. Remember, he used to play on the right and come inside, you know, when it's very dangerous, and been away for a few seasons. I'm sure somebody that Venables will be expecting to get a bit of service from.
First moan of the night, the numbers on the Bala shirts. Some of them. They're not quite as clear. You think a black number on a white shirt would be obvious, but that number 8.
Yeah, there's Callum Roberts and George Hughes are the springers. Looks like they're trying to block off and expect one of them to win the ball.
Mendes whips it in. Jones came through a crowd of bodies. Dave Jones clutching the ball. He did all right for clean sheets as well. 11 clean sheets last season. Did well here.
It's into a dangerous area. He's done really well. Really well. Sutton protecting him.
Pete was there again. He fancies it.
Yeah. If Pete gets a run up, you're in trouble. If he gets that 1, 2, 3 steps and then is able to jump, he's got an exceptional leap.
Sutton, familiar figure in the defence for Newtown. Under a bit of pressure, Mendes nearly nicked it. George Hughes was back there. Walker onto Robles. Robles competing and complaining towards the referee, and Mendes got the first ahead of Sutton. 18 minutes gone, still goalless here. Both teams still looking for their first win of the season. It's very early, 2 games in. Bala had a slow start last season as well. I'm sure they'll be keen to put that to one side.
Yeah, they did have a slow start last year, didn't they? But really kicked on in the second phase.
Well, the end of 17 league games unbeaten towards the end of last season.
Yeah.
Amazing run, took them to second place, and they've got a great run against Newtown as well. They've won the last 3 without conceding against them. 1 defeat in 14.
Wow.
As a manager, are you aware of that sort of run?
You are, yes, you are. You know, when you're trying to take every game on its own merits, but you know, there are teams that do cause you problems, and this is a really tough place to come. You know, over the years, if you get to come away with a point, you know, a win is a real bonus against these.
Looped cross, bit too far for Mendes, approaching the 20-minute mark. Still 0-0. Exactly the same scoreline at Park Hall as well. TNS against Connors Quay. That's a fascinating one tonight, Andy.
Yeah, it is. I was actually at the game in the league when they won on penalties. Possibly the worst penalty shootout in the history of penalty shootouts. I think it was about 3 each after about 12 penalties each. And it was a great victory. And tonight, I'm sure Craig will be wanting to you know, put that right. It was his first game at TNS back in there, you know, although he watched it from the stand. So he'll be desperate to make an impression tonight, as will Neil.
It was interesting. They lost to Cardiff Met, who were having a great start to the season. Connors Quay in the first game, and Neil Gibson after the game interview with Scorio, just saying, I asked the players to do things that they weren't comfortable with, and maybe I'll have to look at that again. So is it when you're going in as a new manager, even though you may know the squad, you know what's coming, but you can change too many things sometimes?
Yeah, I think, you know, Neil knows the game, and I know what the players there are capable of, and perhaps you know, he was taking a bit of a blow for the players there, you know, protecting these players a little bit cleverly, because I think they might have changed the shape a little bit and it didn't come off. But then Cardiff Mets have gone on and shown, with the performance at Aber last week, just how strong they're going to be this year.
I was live on S4C. Some performance from Met. Aberystwyth lost a few of their best players. They were struggling last season and they've lost the best players this summer. It's going to be a long season for them. But Cardiff Met, change of manager. Ryan Jenkins has been there for so long as well. Christian Edwards stepping to one side. They've started well.
I saw him. I think he was at the TNS game scouting so he's still got an interest there. I was very impressed to see him up at the game. When
Christian
was at the game.
Yeah, I think he's taken the title director of football with Met, so he's still around, still helping out. They can't get rid of him. But he was commentating for us on Scorio as well in that game. It's been fascinating because both managers, former Cardiff Met coaches, so he knew everybody. Nearly halfway through the first half. I was saying earlier about these guys, of the players still playing in the league, these have got the most appearances. Chris Venables, familiar figure, over 500 appearances in the league. And then you got Craig Williams, not far behind, 486 appearances, 990 between them. Still going strong.
When I first came into the league at Airbus 10 years ago, went down towards Clonethley at a weekend, came back and said, I like the lad who's playing it through the midfield, Chris Venables. He looks quite decent, a young lad. And here we are now. And what a career he's had. Fantastic career.
Absolutely. 5 golden boots, and a few of them when he was with Aberystwyth as well. So you're getting the golden boot with a team that aren't competing, going for the title. Some achievement.
Yeah, if you create chances, his movements are similar, like Michael Wilde. His movements in around defenders. He knows how to block people. He knows how to get across people, and very, very composed finisher. At the final moment, he makes really good decisions.
Would you be planning ahead if you were Colin Caton, looking at some of your best players are, to be kind, getting on a bit? Venables, 37. We've got Anthony Kay, 39. Dave Edwards, 36. They're all the wrong side of
100%. And you look at the squad of players that Reece is putting together down at Pen-y-bont, the age group, and these teams will run their lane, but managers will find players, and it's a slow process, gradual, to bring in different kinds of personalities, because these have been such great servants. And Colin knows the league, he knows the local league in the northwest of England, got a lot of good contacts, and there's a lot of good players from Liverpool that come down here over the years. So I'm sure in time he'll find the right personnel. Just saw Shane Sutton going through the gears earlier, carrying the ball into the Bala half. George Hughes spreads it out to Williams, fancies a run. Wharton back to Hughes, and threatening from the edge of the box. Robles suddenly half a chance. Yeah, great bit of play. Craig Williams orchestrating it from the right side. Great little ball in here, clever little movement with Williams, and again the two of them working excellent. No, that finds a corner. Great movement, great play. Shot on target. And the lesson for every commentator, look down for a split second to check some notes and just watch the game. More important than any stats. And we're watching Venables climbing there. So competitive. Robles. Again, Dave Edwards. Flicking it on, Jake Walker. It's back to Williams, Newtown captain. Williams, great control. Good play from Aaron Williams. Wharton getting a chance through the middle for Newtown tonight. Joining from Bala Town in the summer. Plenty of room ahead of George Hughes. And Robles out on the wing. Here Williams coming across, I think, for a long throw. Up comes Sutton and Sears. Had a bit of joy last season with long throws. Sutton's got a real presence in there. He's able to move people. 26 goals for Williams last season in all competitions. Great stats. But he's taken 20 assists tonight. 25 minutes gone, 0-0.
Can Newtown get their first goal of the season? It's nicely flicked on. Wharton climbs. Bala clear. And referee's whistle.
You know, the importance of that, then I can't emphasise the importance of Kay's header there, because Newtown have got first contact, and once you get first contact, anything can happen in the box. If we see it here now, I hope they show it again. But it's a great throw. They won the make first contact there now, and now you're in trouble. And it's great play from Kay. Fantastic to win that one and clear your box. So important, them little key details, and it looks like he's took one, you know, for the team as well.
As you can see, it's clearly was caught.
Yeah, it looks
he's been there before, I'm sure.
Many times. Yeah, strong character there now. So important that then people that get their head on things in the box and clear it for you. And just took a flailing arm. It won't bother him. He's a tough lad, Anthony.
Theo Wharton was the one trying to compete. Yeah, as we said earlier, Anthony Kay, 39 years old now, 599 games in the Football League.
Yeah, and he came in, was it 3 seasons ago? So impressed with him, and you know, I think it's a reflection of modern day footballers. You know, they've had long careers and they're able to look after themselves, and their diets are right, their fitness regimes, and they can come down and train maybe once or twice a week, play games and carry on along their career. We've seen that with Danny Harrison, Mike Wild, George Horan, you know, good players who have been great servants, and Anthony's certainly another one of them, you know, at that age, 39, and still competing at this level and playing very, very well tonight, breaking up a lot of play.
Dave Edwards, the classic example, speaking to him last season, and he just loved the fact his body was telling him he couldn't keep going full time, but coming here, as you said, training once, twice a week, suddenly he's enjoying his football again. The fact that he's still here says everything.
Exactly, yeah.
Sutton is there first, Wharton. Dave Edwards. Following Wharton, Rob Les. Being watched by Shannon. Wharton still going. Little jinking run from Wharton. Now what options have they got? Plenty of room out wide. Red shirts piling into the middle. Wharton's continued with his run.
Yeah, he's done really well. Great. Just stepped past a couple of players again. Maybe could have gone a bit further to allow Craig Williams to cross the ball further up the pitch. There now. Just another 10 yards, and then Craig, once you get inside the box, it's a lot more difficult to defend. Just in that channel. But yeah, excellent play.
Chris Hughes was talking before the game when I asked him about lack of goals. Is it a worry? He's only 2 games in. We've got to ask these stupid questions to the managers. But he was saying he's been impressed by how many crosses they've been getting into the box. So he's quite happy with the way they've been playing anyway. Yeah,
I think that we have so much stats we get nowadays, and managers getting questioned after 1 or 2 games, you know, in the position they're in. And, you know, you can only look at creative opportunities created, and they're creating a lot of opportunities. Just seen the downside of the diamond there a little bit, where your strikers having to pull wide, you haven't got to get out.
Bala looking for the throw in. Wall, I think he's got it. We're going to see another long throw coming in. Well, Arsan's coming across, and Kay with a bandage. And of a certain age, you think of Terry Butcher straight away. It's got to be done. Well, a bit of a misunderstanding from the throw-in from Bala. Frustration from Dave Edwards.
Naeem Arson's got a reasonable long throw. I'm surprised they haven't maybe sent Pete up there as well. Venables in the box with Edwards. It's a real threat.
He was saying about all the stats you get. I can imagine he must be swamped as a manager. What ones do stand out? What stats would you?
The goals
notice?
We scored.
The goals, the points.
The goals we scored to the opposition. If it's more than what they've got, we've got a great chance of winning.
We can overcomplicate it, can't we? Bala haven't threatened that much. Newtown have had the better of this first half, but it's still 0-0. As Mendes clips it on. Dave Edwards! Run from deep. Edwards scores. What a goal from Bala Town. The experienced Dave Edwards timed it perfectly. He's in behind the defence, and Bala are ahead. Bala 1, Newtown 0.
It's a wonderful ball for Mendes, you know, and maybe something that I've not seen in him. He's, you know, he takes the ball across his body with his right foot and clips the perfect ball with his left foot. It's just that ball there. Arson stepped in, and it's just here. That little touch there. Now, this is there across his body, and then that touch is fabulous. And if you want anybody in the box on the end of a ball, it's Dave Edwards, who's been doing it all his career. Fabulous touch from Mendes.
Here's that flick again. Mendes with the assist. Edwards with the finish. Oh, Newtown, they've played so well. They've been lively. They've been threatening. But they're losing. 1-0 after talking about all the stats. As Andy Morrison said, the important one is that one. Dave Edwards.
Yeah, can you think of any other player that you'd want to that moment, you know? And it started with Niall Morrison. He's actually stepped across, I think it might have been Craig Williams, to get a cross in, and it was a fabulous first touch to get him up the pitch. You get that little second ball, you keep it alive, and then you need a bit of quality, and they found the quality with Mendes. Superb.
Shot was very close to the goalkeeper as well. So your initial reaction is, could the keeper have stopped it? But then you listen to strikers as we watch again. Bala coming forward again. It's 2-0. What a finish. Shannon makes it 2 in a minute for Bala Town. They've woken up. Shannon gets his second of the season. Bala's second tonight. A glorious 60 seconds for Bala Town.
Yeah, he's arrived perfectly. We're talking about moments arriving in the box, and Anthony Kay plays the ball wide. It's a fabulous cross, but you're on the move in the box, and he can't. And Ollie Shannon's done that now for the last couple of seasons, more so last year. I thought he was a fullback, but he's broke into midfield. He's got fabulous energy. He's aggressive in his movements into the box. He gets goals, and his timing is fabulous there. It's a great ball in, and then that flick. Wow, how it can change in a matter of seconds.
Stunning finish from Shannon. He got the equaliser against Haverfordwest late on Saturday. They were losing with 8 minutes to go. Shannon got the equaliser, first point of the season. And just a double whammy there for Newtown. 2 goals. Interesting to see what the time difference was between both goals. Must have been 2 goals in a minute. Fantastic finish from Shannon.
And two runners from midfield. You know, you got to mark them. You have to track them runs in blocks. You're looking at Venables, but the 2 runners both times have come from the midfield, and where the Newtown midfielders have switched off.
Newtown hits back. They must be shell-shocked after that. They say you're at your weakest when you've just scored. Bala just disproved that fact. Big time. Lovely second goal. Both goals. 2 great goals from Bala. Dave Edwards and Shannon with the second. Newtown will be desperate to hit back here. Another chance for Williams to whip it in. Sears was competing. And Wall chasing down. Well, that's going to give them so much confidence. Mendes. Pressure on Jones. Roberts under pressure. Bala off again. Well, the linesman's given it in the end.
I think it's a foul. Yeah, I think it's a foul, but it's great closing and great awareness from Shannon on the move. And you know, you've got to give a foul. I think the lines person's got it correct.
You can see the spring in their step, certainly. What on earth must you be thinking now, Andy? Chris Hughes.
Game plan goes out the window. You know, 2 moments of brilliance from Bala, and after so comfy and dominating possession and looking, but it's key moments in games, you know, when it's running, being positive runs into midfield, and then having been caught with 2 moments of quality from Mendes to start with, and then great movement from Shannon.
Bala have won their last 3 against Newtown without conceding a goal. Superb record against them recently as well. 1 defeat in 14 in all competitions. 5 games last season. Bala won 4 of them. And there was 1 draw. Well, that was 3 all. That was entertaining. We're having an entertaining game here tonight as well. 10 minutes to go in the first half. 2-0. Bala Town. It all changed after half an hour. Dave Edwards with the first, Ollie Shannon with the second, 2 goals in a minute. And can Newtown find a way back into this? Don't panic, I'm sure, is the first reaction.
No, without stating the obvious, the next goal is huge.
Oh, Craig Williams bursting through, causing problems. Bala have regrouped, sorted it out. Venables, lovely touch to Wall, who turns, he's fouled. And suddenly, Bala full of confidence, no surprise there. 2-0 here, still 0-0 at Park Hall. The Wall looks like a decent acquisition for Bala. Hughes with the foul. I've enjoyed watching George Hughes and Jake Walker have come in for Newtown. Walker used to be with Aston Villa. Henry Cowan's missing tonight. He'll be a loss. He's done well for Newtown recently as well. Son of Gordon Cowans. What a player he was. We've also got George Newell on the bench. Mike Newell's son. There you go. There's a new generation coming through.
I played with Mike Newell at Blackburn, and I played against Cowans when he was at Villa. So I think that's just maybe a reflection of my age.
I was looking last season when Henry Cowans joined, looking at Gordon's stats. He had an amazing career and a long career, so he might not be that old either as well, Andy.
What a footballer he was. Incredible.
Final minutes of this first half. It's going Bala's way at the minute. And Newtown started so lively. They look full of ideas, full of running. But that look says it all. 2-0 down, 2 goals in a minute. 2 good goals, no consolation to Chris Hughes. Very easy on the eye. Okay, flicks it on again. Mendes is in behind. Offside. But suddenly they're finding space. What's happened? What's changed, Andy?
It's the desire to run in behind. Shannon's made a run into the box. Mendes twice. He's obviously got fantastic legs and energy. Breaking in behind there, not getting to balls, just turning the back four of Newtown round. But you need people that are willing to break forward. And again, great recovery run from Dave Edwards.
Yeah, Dave Edwards there first. If you're in that dugout where Chris Hughes is now, what will you be doing? What would you be saying?
You'll be thinking about half time. You'd like to get one back before half time, but you'll be thinking you're going to make some changes. But you're looking at it, I'm not sure they can make any changes. The next goal's huge chance.
Well, there's a chance for Rushton, slides in. Bala clear. Nick Rushton in again. He had an early chance. Pete with the defensive work. Let's have a look at this one.
Yeah, great movement, well left.
Robles with the dummy. Another good move from Newtown. And suddenly that fact they haven't scored might start to worry them. Williams with a long throw. Kay's there again. You can spot him a mile off with that bandage.
Yeah, we'll go back to that, for me, a key moment. When he took one in the head there, when the game was teetering and you need somebody to step up, and he did. And then within 10 minutes, you're 2-0 up.
Rushton competing. Bala get rid of it. As Roberts lifts it back in. The red shirts fighting for everything. The whistle's gone. As Sutton flicked it on, Robles got a touch to it. I think it was Sears got the flick. I think it's offside they've given.
I don't think Ramsey will rush with this. I think he'll take his time.
No. 2-0, Bala Town. Looking for Mendes. And we asked Colin Caton before the game, still looking for that first win. How important would that win be? He knew the stats. This time last season, 3 games, 3 points. So if we win tonight, we've got more points than we did this time last season. So he knows the stats.
He had a slow start last year, and this is a big game tonight because these are 2 teams I really fancy, to cement top 6 positions. So very early on, you want to put a little marker down, and Bala certainly stepped up.
Still 0-0, TNS Connors Key. So TNS's first game 0-0 against Newtown. Beat Pen-y-bont in the second game, but it was an injury time winner, 1-0. The goals aren't flying in at the minute. Long way to go, of course. 5 minutes to go here for half-time as Williams plays it into the middle towards George Hughes. Now Callum Roberts, plenty of red shirts up there. Williams calling for it. Wharton, a wild shot in the end, fancied his chances. Have another look at this Wharton effort. Well, I was saying, not many goals flying in at Park Hall. We're about to show you a score. Connors Quay have scored. It's Mike Wilde, Andy.
Who else? Fantastic. Yeah, great. Yeah, what a player. We're talking about players tonight that have, will leave an impression on this league for many, many years. And Mike Wilde's certainly one of them, still scoring goals. Is 39, is it, this year? What a servant. And himself, Venables, players like that, George Horan, who've been in this league now, should be statues of them. And I say, and I don't say it lightly, because they have been. If there's a Hall of Fame, then you're certainly talking about Mike Wilde and Chris Venables being in them.
Absolutely. We need a Mount Rushmore somewhere in mid Wales for all these players in the Cymru Premier. That's a big scoreline, though. Connors Quay ahead at the home of the champions. All changed in the summer. Well, it was all changed really everywhere, but Anthony Limbrick lost his job, and then suddenly the change sparks more change. Harrison comes in, Bala clear again. Venables is looking for it, sniffing out an opportunity. If Connors Quay can get a win tonight at the home of the New Saints, not sure what to make of this start to the season at the minute. It feels up for grabs, to be honest.
Yeah, it does, but it'll settle down. You've got new clubs, or Flint with a new manager who come in, and new players to the league. But it will settle down in time. It always does. And for me, both teams we're looking at tonight will be in that top 6 and be there at the end of the season.
Decent move there from Bala. They were one pass away from bursting through again. Venables and Wall combining. Callum Roberts to Rushton. Kay following him everywhere. Can Newtown create one chance before half-time? George Hughes on to Sears. Bala burst away. Strong run as well. Arsan, Wall again. Wall's looking lively. Well, it's all happening at Park Hall. We'll get confirmation for you, but there's been another goal at Park Hall. The New Saints have equalised. It's 1-1. We'll get that up and confirm the goal scorer when we get it. And the same as here, 2 goals in a minute here. It seems it's got lively at Park Hall as well. 1-1. Mike Wilde putting Connors Quay ahead. Just waiting to see who's got the goal for the New Saints. It's all happening at the minute. 2 minutes between Mike Wilde's goal and the New Saints equalising. Big Harrison side, hit him back. And it's easy. The initial reaction when Harrison goes back is, he's going back, he'll slot right in. He knows the team, but he's been away for a few years. Going to Hartlepool and coming to Connors Quay as well. It's not going to be that. He's going to need some time to settle in as well, even though it's very familiar settings for him.
Yeah, Craig also had, I think it was 3 or 4 months before he came into Connors Quay at Bangor.
And it's Declan McManus that's got the goal for the New Saints.
I'd be really disappointed. You get your nose in front, and then within minutes the equaliser comes. Hugely disappointing.
Wall whips it in. Venables sensed there was an opportunity there. I'd forgotten about Bangor with Craig Harrison.
Yeah, he had 4 months in at Bangor before he came in when Neil Gibson went back to Preston.
Yeah, of course.
And then obviously Craig came in as assistant and did fantastic, took over from Neil Gibson, who was excellent. I was very fortunate to have 2 exceptional coaches that come along, and you, as a manager, you need luck, you need timing, and I was very fortunate to have 2 exceptional coaches and good men with me.
Up against each other tonight.
just seen again the problem with the diamond there. Callum's looked up and there's just nothing wide for him.
Sutton slips. Mendes. Can Bala punish them on the stroke of half-time? Roberts got back, got a foot in. That could have been crucial as well. Because 2-0, you've got a chance. 3-0. Well, you've still got a chance, obviously, but it's going to be that much harder. Luke Wall, he's seen plenty of possession tonight. Ollie Shannon moves it on. Kay again. Bala looking for another opportunity on the stroke of half-time. Venables was in there, of course he was, competing. Cross came in. Newtown defender still down. I think it's Sears who felt that.
It's a great passage of play. I mean, the ball into the box from Southern is exceptional, and then great defending from Sears under pressure. I thought it was a foul on Ryan Sears, but again, a great ball from Southern. I think you'll see this is you put it in, you missed that first man, and great defending, and I do think that's a foul there.
Ollie Southern starting tonight, joined last summer. And Sears has felt that. He only joined in January. Ryan Sears, it feels like he's been around for forever with Newtown.
He had a period a few seasons ago where he came in on loan. I think it was from Shrewsbury. Did he go to Grimsby? I think he had a period at Grimsby, and then he's him and Sutton have been excellent tonight, but they haven't had them runs tracked, and the space that's been in behind is where Bala have hurt.
This looks worrying as well, Andy, for Newtown.
I think he'll be okay.
It looked like the physio was about to do that universal hand signal of no, he's got to change him, but as you say, he's up.
I think he'll be okay. Yeah.
Oh, that changed quickly. I thought he was going off there for a second.
You got to know centre-halves. You got to know the centre-halves. You want people to know that he's been brave and carrying on. He was at 2-0 down away to Bala. You know, it's an easy get out of jail, and I hope to see him come back on.
Last seconds of this first half, entertaining first half, especially if we follow Bala Town. 2-0 up, Mendes, back deep. Look for Venables again. No, Sears, not only is he back on, he's up winning the header, but it's gone on to Wall. Bala again, trying to pressurise end of the first half. Venables ghosting in on the far post, couldn't quite get there. Shannon made a run as well.
Yeah, Shannon makes the box well, and it's counter-attacking football from Bala, you know, and they've certainly caught in the initial 5-10 minutes of the game. Newtown were excellent, but the counter-attacking movements arriving in the box from Bala has been superb.
That should be it for the first half. Pretty sure we're going to hear the whistle, as seems to be the pattern in all football games. They'll wait for the kick. There's the whistle. It's half-time, and it's a 2-0 for Bala Town. Dave Edwards got the first after half an hour, and within a minute, Ollie Shannon pounced for the second. All this after a lively start from Newtown, who are still looking for their first goal of the season. Both teams looking for their first victory of the season. Now we'll go back to Sian David. We'll see you for the second half.
Diolch yn fawr I Wayne a Bryn. Wel, dyna ni, y tîm cartref y Bala ar y blaen o 2 gôl I ddim. Dave Edwards ac Ollie Shannon yn rhwydo fewn 2 funud o'i gilydd dechreuad calonogol y dre newydd, y Bala sydd ar y blaen. A fel ych chi'n gallu gweld, mae'n un yn neuadd y parc, y seintiau newydd yn Hafal yn erbyn Cey Connor. Mike Wild yn sgorio yn erbyn ei gyn glwb, ond wedyn ni, I roi Cey Connor ar y blaen, ond wedyn ni, y seintiau newydd yn unioni'r sgôr. Mr Declan McManus yn sgorio i'r tîm cartref. Wel, newn ni drafod yr hanner cynta yn y man, ond rhywun yn anffodus wedi gadael y Bala, wedi gadael uwch Gyngrair Cymru dros yr haf yw Will Evans. Nath ei ymuno â chas newydd dros yr haf. Wythnos diwetha, es I am goffi bach dy fe. Will, I have a confession to make. I may have stalked your Instagram, and I clocked that you spend a lot of time in this coffee shop since you've joined Newport. So this is what professionals footballers get up to when you're not training and not playing?
I suppose so. I mean, I've got quite close with the owners here, and you know, they probably do the best coffee in town. The food's great. Always quite a nice vibe in here, and yeah, like I said, the coffee's top notch. So yeah, I suppose I do spend most of my time here.
Well, it's been, fair to say, a busy few months for yourself. How have you settled at Newport? Are you enjoying it?
Yeah, it's been a busy few months, I suppose. I mean, when the move came about, you don't really prepare for it because you don't really know what you're getting into. But yeah, from minute one, went away on a pre-season camp up north in Manchester way, and then we had 5 weeks pre-season, and then you're into the season. It comes thick and fast. You've got to bond with the lads. You've got to work under a new management team, your new surroundings. Obviously, I've relocated down here, so yeah, it's been a hectic couple of months. But to be fair, I can't have asked for it to go any better. And you know, away from the personal life and outside of it, just working on trying to be the best I can on a Saturday, Tuesday, and hopefully get some more points on the board with Newport.
How did you feel when I don't know, you got the call or that you heard that Newport were interested? Was it a bit of a pinch me moment?
Yeah, it was a pinch me moment. You know, after the Wales C game, people told me that there could be interest, and you know, until it actually happens, you don't really expect anything to come of it. But yeah, I had a phone call with the gaffer James Robury, and you know, came down and met him and the assistant and a few members of staff, sporting director, and it was, you know, a very surreal moment. I got back in my car and I just took a breath, really, and I was thinking, right, this is on now, this is happening. So from that conversation then, really, it was like head down. You know, I was doing a lot of work in the off season to prepare myself, and yeah, it was a surreal moment, but I'm loving every minute.
You just mentioned the Cymru C game, and you know, it's no secret that fixture has always provided a really good platform for the players in the Welsh Prem, and of course you had an unbelievable night in Caernarfon, didn't you?
Yeah, I suppose everyone says that one game, it was that one game, but you know, it's taken a lot of work to even get selected into for that camp. Then to be able to start in that camp, it was a huge honour. And I remember saying it in my interview actually after the game, because me and Alex Ramsey obviously came from Bala, good mate of mine outside of football. We were rooming together, and I said, imagine if we won tonight, imagine if I go and score 2. And they were my actual words, and yeah.
So it was written in the stars?
Well, maybe a little bit, because you're playing on a bigger stage. You're playing against opposition of a conference level. It's obviously going to get more attention, and luckily enough, that night went as well as it could have for me personally. Luckily enough, I had the number 11, which was a little bit...
That is pressure.
Yeah, that is pressure, basically. Yeah, I think if someone had said 4-0 before the game, you would have bit your hand off, and your leg, and your other arm. But yeah, that was some occasion.
Highlight of your time in the Cymru Prem, Will?
Highlight of my time? I would say it would have to be the Bala penalty shootout with Met.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I had to get both teams in somewhere. Yeah, with that one, I actually missed my penalty that day. I remember putting the ball down, my leg was shaking, I was so nervous, and I've actually passed it back to the goalkeeper. But when Elliot, to be fair, when he rolled that in, that was some feeling. Just because we got to the final, to the 2 years previous, lost to Druids, lost to Bangor, and you're thinking, well, we've got to go through a whole season, get to that point again. Is it going to actually fall for us? And to be fair, in that penalty shootout, I thought, as soon as I missed, I thought, oh, here we go again. But to be fair, Fuller's made some good saves, the lads finished it well. So yeah, for me, personally, that would probably be my number 1.
You know, we've seen former pros come to the league, you know, Dave Edwards, obviously they were with at Bala, Sean McDonald, Jazz Richards, but also it works the other way around, doesn't it? Because we've seen young players like yourself that have developed in the league go on and sign professional contracts. Just how much has it helped you in your career playing in that league? I
see with Thumper from Newtown, obviously getting that great move out to Canada, and you know, from that Wales C games, there's lots of opportunities in the league. I think the platform that Scoria have got and the Twitter of the league is such a good base that it reaches out to a lot of people. And you know, you look at Newport, myself, Priestley and Waity have all come from the same league, came in, and you know, granted Waity had a bit more history at Cardiff, but you know, it's propelled his career to then get back into the professional game. And for someone like me who came across the Welsh League by chance, really, at Cardiff Met, it's definitely a great platform for people to be involved, and it's a great stepping stone. I wouldn't even call it a stepping stone now. I think like the standard's becoming increasingly better. And I think in the next 2, 3, 4 years, you'll start seeing more moves for people in the coming Prem coming through into the Football League. But only time will tell. I don't want to just say that just in case. But no, it's definitely increasing, and I think it's a great platform for young footballers trying to get into the game.
Well, I'm glad we got through the interview and I didn't call you Emlyn, so that's an achievement.
Yeah, I want to let you live that one down this time.
Well, honestly, thank you so much for your time. So chuffed for you, and I'm glad that you've settled in Newport. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Fi'n gweithio chi, mae Emlyn Lewis a Will Evans yn edrych yn debyg. Reit yn cadw cwmni Dylan Ebenezer yn ei sylwebeth Saesneg heno yw Andy Morrison, a mae'r ddoi nhw wrth ochr y ca. Beth yw sylwadau Andy ar y rhanner cynta yna, Del?
Sianed, diolch yn fawr iawn. Loving it tonight with Andy Morrison on the Red Button commentary. Man City legend. The man who did what we thought was impossible. Broke that TNS stranglehold on this league, Andy, with Connors Quay. What about here tonight, before we mention TNS and Connors Quay? What about the first half here? What have we made?
Well, it's Newtown started excellent. You know, maybe caught Bala out with a 4 diamond 2. But gradually they felt their way into it. And then, again, you know, balls into the box with quality. First of all from Mendes and then Southern, and runners in behind, and it creates opportunities. You still got to finish them. 2 great finishes, but I just thought Sutton and Sears wasn't their fault. It's midfielders beyond them. They're picking up Venables, taking care of him, and runners into the box, which is always got to be tracked, and they weren't.
I'm sure you've been there in the changing room at half time, like Chris Hughes is now. His team have played well. They're 2-0 down. What do they do about it?
Listen, I'm looking at the bench, and it's going to be difficult for Chris to change it tonight. They're again similar to Bala. The benches are they've got a few injuries they've picked up, so it's going to be difficult. He might change the formation, might go to a flat 4-4-4-2 to try and get some width. Every time Callum Roberts got the ball, he looks out wide. There's nothing there, and then by the time Williams or Robles get out there, it's the place broke down. So it makes it difficult. So he might change the shape.
The other game tonight's fascinating, especially for you. I'm sure your former club, Connors Quay, took the lead at the New Saints. Mike Wilde scoring, then Declan McManus hits back. It's 1-1 at half-time. Who'll be happier there, do you think?
Well, I think going into the game, I think at half-time, I think Gibbo would have been delighted with drawing. But the fact you've got 1-0 up, Neil will be disappointed that they've not seen that through, because I think it was within 2 minutes that they scored. You spoke about the team being runnable after they score, and then they go 2-0 up here. And there was the flip side of it, equalising very quickly with McManus, and all to play for. But going in at half-time would have made it difficult the longer that had gone on for TNS. You got a busy weekend. Your former club, Man City, tomorrow against Crystal Palace, commentating on that one. That could be a fascinating game. What sort of impact has Haaland had on your former club? Yeah, he changed the way they play slightly. There was things that I saw in the week where I thought, it was different away at Newcastle. They didn't have so many options. They play with a false 9, means you're going to have an overload in midfield. You're going to be able to recycle the ball and go through people. With Haaland further up the pitch, there's a different threat in behind, but they weren't able to get them little patterns that they have gone over the last couple of seasons. So that'll develop as the season goes on. But obviously, already 3-2. I think you would have took that. Yeah, he looks a very decent signing. Biggest fact of the night, Andy went for a swim in the lake before the game tonight, so we might do it after the game as well. We'll see. Sean, we'll go back to you. I'll stop talking about swimming in lakes, I think.
Wel, byddai ddim yn ymuno â chi yn llyn. Reit, Wayne, beth am i ni ddadansoddi'r hanner gynta yna? Ar un hen stori i'r Dre Newydd, maen nhw'n dechrau mor dda, maen nhw'n achosi broblemau i'r Bala. Hanner cyfleoedd, jyst ffili cael y bel yng nghefn yr oed. Ie, cyfle gynta yn dod yn y funud a hanner gynta o'r gêm, neu Cryston yn neud yn wych. Dwi'n meddwl mae o'n neud y peth call troi fewn ac mynd am y postyn pell yna ac arbeidio da gan Alec Ramsey yn y gol i'r Bala. Dwi'n siŵr os oedd hi'n mynd i fewn i'r gornol bella, ond dyna ydy'r stori a hanner i'r Dre Newydd, cyfle gwych i Robles, y bwriad yn un da i fynd am y postyn pell yna, ond gafodd am gafal o'r y bel digon da i chosi broblemau i'r Bala ac fydden nhw'n siomedig achos oedd y 31 o funud a gynta yn da iawn iddyn nhw. Peniad anodd o'r pellter yna, y pel tu ôl iddo fo chydig bach, ond dyma oedd stori yr gêm am 31 o funud a Rushton yn gwneud y reidiau da unwaith eto, ond ffodus i'r Bala bod yna rhywun yn ar y llinell i achub nhw y tro yna. Ysa'r Dre Newydd yn hawdd di gallu bod ar y blaen cyn i'r goliad dod i'r Bala o fewn 2 funud, y gêm yn troi ar ei ffen chydig bach. Os rhywbeth gallu Dre Newydd wneud i newid y gêm, achos mae bach o fynydd dyn nhw ddringo nawr yn yr ail hanner.
Mae nhw angen gol, a gol nesaf y gêm. Os nad ydyn nhw'n gael hynny, mae gen nhw broblem ac os ydyn nhw'n nildio'r gol nesaf, sa'n teg i ddeud fydd y gêm ar y ben iddyn nhw. A dyna bydd Chris Hughes yn gobeithio bod nhw'n dod allan ar y cychwyn yr ail hanner ar y troed blaen eto. Ond jyst efo'r touchdown ola yna yn y Cwrt Cosby, neu chydig bach yn well, os ydyn nhw'n gael y gol nesaf, mae gen nhw nipyn y gêm yma wedyn.
Gadewch i ni weld goliau'r Bala. Wayne, 2 gol o fewn 2 funud. A nath y goliau yma, bron, ddeithon nhw o unman?
Do, mi nath nhw o unman. O 2 gol o safon da hefyd. Mae rhaid dweud bod y bel yma gan Mendes. Mae o'n cael lle troi. Mae o'n pigo'r pas berffaith i fewn i ridiau Dave Edwards. Ac wedyn o'n o gwaith i gwneud gan Dave Edwards. Mae'r bas yna iddo fo yn mynd ar ei troi trwy gynta. Weli di'n pas gwell. Dyna o'n i'n meddwl efo'r gol yma. Ond dyna welon ni efo'r ail gol hefyd. Rhywbeth tebyg yn syth ar ôl mynd ar ei holi y Dre Newydd dros bob man mewn ffordd. Digon o lle croesi'r pel o'r dde. Ac unwaith eto, cyffyrddiad gan Shannon yn wych yn mynd ar y bel i ffwrdd o Dave Jones. Dim siawns o gwbl iddo fo yn gol ac y bel yn hwydo yn y gornel uchaf. O'n i heb gweld hwn yn dod ar ôl 31 y funudau, ond dwan ar ôl 45 o funudau. Mae'n eipyn y mynydd i tîm Chris Hughes ac mae rhaid i fi dweud, dwi'n gweld nhw'n dod yn ôl i ennill y gêm yma wan.
Oli Shannon yn sgorio i ail gol, nath e sgorio yn erbyn Hwlffordd yn y gêm ddiwetha hefyd. Bydd na dimlad o ryddhad i Colin Caton, ti'n credu?
Dwi'n siŵr fydd na. Fydd o'n siomedig efo be welodd o yn y 30 o funudau gynta. Ond mae goliau newid pethau ac iddyn nhw gael y 2 gol yna, fydd o di teimlo chydig bach yn hapusach yn yr ystafell newid. Ond fydd o'n gwybod bod nhw dim dan i erbyn o heno. Fydd o di roed y warning i'r 11 sydd wedi mynd allan am yr ail hanner yn deud peidiwch â gildio'r gol nesaf. Os da chi'n neud hynny, mi newch chi ennill y gêm yn cyffyrddus.
Owain, diolch am y cwmni chi'n ei adael i chi fynd lan i'r pwynt sylwebu i ymuno a Bryn Thomas. A just i'ch atgoffa chi unwaith eto o'r sgoriau hyd yma, Bala ar y blaen o 2 gol i ddim yn erbyn y Dre Newydd fan hyn ar faes Tegid. Ac mae'n hafal, mae'n 1-1 rhwng y Seintiau Newydd a Chei Conna. Mike Wilde yn rhoi Chei Conna ar y blaen, a wedyn ni Declan McManus yn unioni'r sgôr. A chofiwch holl uchafbwyntiau'r penwthnos Wyl y Banc, nos lun am hanner awr wedi 9 ac eto nos Fawrth am hanner awr wedi 6 ar S4C. Felly digon o bêl-drod, digon o gyfleoedd i chi ddalan gyda holl gyffro'r penwthnos. Fel ych chi'n gallu gweld, mae Chris Venables yn barod amdani, mae'r tîmau nôl ar y ca. Felly beth am i ni ail ymuno a'n tîmau sylwebu ni yn y Gymraeg, Wayne Phillips a Bryn Thomas.
Welcome back, and we're ready for the second half. No changes. Both teams as you were. And the scoreline, as you were, 2-0 to Bala. Both goals coming around the half-hour mark. Dave Edwards with the first, and Ollie Shannon struck the second. 2 goals in a minute, more or less, for Bala. Stunning goals and stunning Newtown as well, who'd had a lively start to the game, but Bala had settled down. And then some with those 2 goals. Anthony Kay flicking it on with the bandage on his head following an early clash in that first half. But just to remind you, both teams played 2. Still looking for their first win of the season. The records are nearly identical. 2 games, both have lost one. They lost their games with 2-0. So Bala, first game of the season, 2-0 at Pen-y-bont, then a 1-1 draw against Haverfordwest, Newtown 0-0 against the New Saints, and then a 2-0 defeat against Flint. Both teams have been to Europe as well this summer. Second against third last season. So many similarities. There's a big difference in the score tonight. It's 2-0. We've seen this in the first half. Aaron Williams with a long throw, a snapshot from the edge of the box. Jake Walker, as Callum Roberts goes back to Dave Jones. A couple of changes for both teams as well. Talking about the similarities in the points. 2 changes each tonight as well. Kieran Smith and Paul Rutherford missing for Bala. Ollie Southern comes in, and a first start for Luke Wall since joining in the summer. And the changes for Newtown: Henry Cowan's missing, Rhys Hesden drops to the bench, Nick Rushton and Theo Wharton have started. And Wharton is trying to sneak in on the edge of the box to throw in. I mentioned Paul Rutherford. He's the star of the show in Welcome to Wrexham, the 2nd episode. We'll have a chance to chat about that one. But importantly, Newtown are attacking. Decent start to this second half, but Bala and Dave Edwards standing firm. Andy Morrison next to me in the commentary position as Venables goes clear. It's not a foul. Hold on tight. Chris Venables is through, one-on-one. Venables straight at the goalkeeper. Where will it land? Newtown will clear. What a chance. Well, I thought it was going to be 3-0 there, Andy.
Well, Chris Venables going through, you're expecting the worst, Newtown. But Sears has got to stand up there and be a bit stronger, because you're not getting them this year. Simple as that. 9 times out of 10 in the past, that's a foul. But they're not being given now. So centre-halves are going to stand up and be a bit stronger. And it also gives a licence to strikers to be a bit more physical. And I like to see that.
Not just in the Cymru Premier, we've seen it in the English Prem Football League. The referees seem to be... Well, it's not lenient, it's just letting the game flow.
Absolutely. It's been crying out, it went too far the other way. Yes, there's got to be control. And like I say, we all know a yellow, we all know it's a reckless challenge. And we all know when a player's being clever. But, you know, for every contact to stop the game, and we're here to be entertained as you know, the public when they come to games, and they want to be. And it was killing football too much for me.
And I'm sure most people would agree with you 100%. And players have been looking for fouls. How long will it take players to adapt and realise, well, it's not going to work anymore?
We've got to adapt pretty quick. Yeah. And young Ryan there, he needs to learn that. You know, you've got to get your body in there, and just to fall over, it isn't going to happen anymore. You know, and it's good for the game. It'll stretch games. It'll make it more open, and we'll get entertained.
Yeah, how many games we've seen the slightest touch is enough to win a free kick? That seems to have changed. Let's see if Newtown can change the scoreline. Wharton to Roberts. Decent move by Newtown. They've won a corner. Threatening again, but Bala standing firm. Pattern of the first half, really.
Excellent bit of play. Excellent from the back. Carved them open. But then the quality of the cross may be lacking a little bit from Callum there. Because you look at the 2 balls that were played in the first half from Bala. You know, I think if he misses that first man, then they had players arriving in the box. Great start from Newtown.
Shane Sutton waiting for this one. Sears is in there. Craig Williams, the captain. Mr. Newtown, can he deliver? Can his team hit back? Well, they went into no man's lands regarding the players. It's in the net. The whistle had long gone by Pratt.
Correct decision as well.
Sears with the snapshot.
Yeah, I think it was a blatant shove in the back. Just a second face. Rustin keeps it live really well. You put it back in there, now anything can happen, but there's just a blatant push there.
Kay again in the thick of the action. Ryan Sears, 5 minutes gone in this second half. I thought Sears was off at one point, end of that first half. Took an injury, but back he came. TNS Connors Key tonight, last 1-1 as well. Early stages of the second half in that one. Mentioned some changes in the summer for Bala Town. They've lost Will Evans, Dean Ebby, who was on loan, Sean Smith, Johnny Spittle, Anthony Stevens. Familiar names have gone. James Davis came in from Newtown, and Naeem Arsan. Luke Wall starts tonight. So we await this throw in for Newtown. They've had a few changes as well. I'll go through a few of them when we get a break in play. For last season's top scorer, trying to create, Williams with the long throw. He's going to get another chance. That's a waste. Williams last season, 17 goals in the league, 26 in all comps. Didn't score against Bala, so that might be a bit of an omen for him. I'm just watching a replay. I'm not sure we're supposed to see that replay. There we go. A few glitches. Callum Roberts up against Mendes. Well, there's the flick on again. The little hand. Kay felt that there wasn't much in it, but Kay did enough. Referee happy with the decision. Newtown's changes. They've lost Wandue, and that's an interesting one. Fumpam Wandue, the lightning quick striker they had that came in from Shrewsbury. He's had a chance. He's gone to Canada. He was so dangerous last season. Wandue.
Had a fantastic season. Yeah, real threat. Of course you are. You know, players have got that kind of pace and can do something slightly different. Is dangerous. I didn't know Canada had a scouting network.
Yeah, I didn't know. Chance for Newtown. And they strike, still looking for the first goal of the season and looking for a way back into this game. Battling on the edge of the box, Rob Les drops it deep. George Hughes back to Rob Les. Patient build-up. Roberts, red shirts, queuing in the middle. Mendes stands firm. Back it'll come. Everybody, bar the goalkeeper Jones, in the Bala half at the minute. Mendes back again. Good defensive work from Mendes from Bala Town. Rob Les, he's going to have to create something up against a solid Bala defence at the minute. George Hughes lays it across. Sears, patient build-up. Bala keeping their shape. No way through at the minute, Andy.
No, they're so set up.
Oh, hang on, there might be a chance here. It's Rob Les up against the goalkeeper. He's denied. As I said, no way through. There's the chance for Rob Les.
Yeah, they were patient in their build-up. It's a great ball from Hughes, just on the blind side. Not sure
Lovely
about.
pass.
Yeah, great defending from Pete. I thought perhaps Rob Les will be disappointed not to get his shot off a little bit quicker. Again, a great start from, as was the first half from Newtown, dominating. I think Bala will be quite happy to sit there and defend against this.
Williams whips it in again. Bala clear again. If you're Colin Caton, you happy the way Bala defending, keeping the
solid.
shape?
They're solid, and for me, the way Newtown, one mistake in possession of the ball, they're wide open to the counter-attack. Bala will be quite happy if it stays like this throughout.
Well, they've missed that headed clearance. Where's it going to drop? Rushton trying to sniff out the chance. Venables, he's come deep, finds Mendes. Here comes the counter-attack. If they can find the correct pass, the white shirts poised. The Newtown have done well, they forced them back. They're still battling. Ollie Southern loses possession. Pete came across, helping out his fellow defender. Back they go again, they'll start again. Newtown. Craig Williams, plenty of room, but Wall spotted him. Fascinating period of play at the minute as Newtown try to find a way back into this one. And as Andy Morrison said, there's a glorious chance for a counter-attack for Bala if they can play it right. They goal against Haverfordwest on the weekend. Classic counter-attack. So they're set up for that at the minute.
It was actually from a Haverfordwest long throw into the box.
Of course,
they broke.
Yeah. And the player that got that goal's got another one tonight, Ollie Shannon. Got the second tonight, his second of the season. It was a lovely goal as well as Sutton takes matters into his own hands, deflects off Mendes. Williams and Rob Les haven't managed to create any, or be on the end of any chances, I should say.
No, there's nothing really been created. They've kept the ball. The shapes caused Bala a problem, but the key moments, are falling for Bala with entries into the box. That's more dangerous.
Callum Roberts looks for Williams. Rushton got his foot to it. It's still there as Williams.
That's a fabulous ball into the box. I think it was Callum Roberts, and once you make contact or you push, you put somebody off with a bit of movement and you keep it alive. They were unlucky there not to get a goal.
Newtown again looking for that goal. They'll get them back into this game, looking for their first goal of the season as well. It's early in the season, but the longer it goes on, it's going to become an issue. Lack of goals You got the players to grab the goals in the team, no doubt about that, but they can't get on the score sheet at the minute. 30 years of this Cymru Premier, Newtown, one of two teams that were there in the first ever season back in 1992. Haverfordwest Town, the other one. They reached the milestone last season of 1,000 league games. Newtown, it's quite a season for them as well. Highest position in the league under Chris Hughes. Hughes, who came in 2013, is coming up to nearly a decade. It's nothing compared to Colin Caton. 19 years he's been at Bala Town, player manager originally.
Yeah, they both must take incredible credit, you know, for, you know, I know how taxing it is, and especially with Europe for Colin. You know, I think they had 1 year out there, maybe 5 or 6, and it is a massive ask. Also to keep your drive, you know, because everything reflects on the manager, and you've got to keep that enthusiasm. You can never ever let off, and you know they've both created incredible standards over the last few years.
Yeah, Bala not reaching Europe was a massive story. That says it all, I guess. When they lost the playoff against Cardiff Met, Bala not in Europe, we were all stunned. That shows how far they've come.
Yeah, I agree. But you know, I was speaking with Mr. Ackroyd before the game, and I was saying that, you know, in many ways that year where they had a chance to regroup, a chance to get a proper rest, and then start recharged, and you know, I think that played a big part in the last 3 or 4 years that they've had. And I think hopefully, you know, we'll see that similar with Connors Quay, a chance to regroup and kick on.
Aaron Williams holding it up well, waiting for the support. Rushed in onto Robles. Kay watching him. Red shirts arriving. Williams flicks it in, causing problems on the far post. They couldn't get it on target. Williams arriving. Craig with the cross. Aaron Williams arriving. Still can't get the goal.
That was a great bit of play, but what you'll actually see is that Robles, with this shape, is the person who's actually gave the pass inside. It's a great ball into the box, but Robles created the movement, and then your striker can't get back into the box. You just couldn't quite live. You just watch it. He just arrives late there now, and he was the player that initially went into the channel. And it's very hard in that diamond shape for the two strikers once they go outside the box to then get back in for the next movement.
Williams with the head on the far post. Was he looking for Robles rather than looking for the goal? It's hard to say.
Yeah, just putting it back across, hoping that somebody will get onto it.
Well, as we've said time and time again, not much wrong with the build-up from Newtown. But they're losing 2-0 and Kay's pinched it. Venables wants it. Mendes on the left. Sears stepped in. Roberts clears. He does more than that. It's a decent clearance. Robles onto Rushton. It's opening up. Half an hour to go. It's a crucial time in this game, Andy Morrison.
Yeah, it is. It has gone end to end a little bit. I'm sure Colin won't want it to go that way. You know, Anthony's been excellent, but it was a poor ball, poor decision. The last one, he should have sent Venables in the corner just to keep the ball for a period, because they need to get a foothold back in. You keep asking the question, Newtown. You think that something's going to fall for them.
Naeem Arsan against his former club, joined in the summer, along with James Davis, who came in to Bala Town. He's on the bench tonight. Interesting player, Davis, plenty of pace. If he gets a run, well, Roberts slipped up there. Heavy touch from Bala. I'm going to try and punish him here. Dave Edwards spreads the play. Mendes takes it on. First touch, lovely, on his chest by Mendes. Support was arriving. Newtown have done enough there.
Great play from Mendes. Great touch. I think he's taken it with his chest across Craig Williams. You take his first touch here. Excellent. And again, put the ball into a good area. It's good defending from Sears.
Still 1-1 in the other game. And what a game. The New Saints against Connors Quay at Park Hall. Naeem Arsan ready to take the throw. He'll get it back as well. Arsan, long looping cross. Mendes with a chance. Where's it going to land? It's in the goal. Confusion. Newtown aren't happy. Mendes in the middle of it. They turn towards the referee. He doesn't want to know. Bala turn away to celebrate. No wonder. It's 3-0.
I think last season again, I think you see a foul on Shane Sutton from Venables. It's not. It's really clever play from Venables. He just takes the space, stops Sutton going backwards. We look at the ball here now. We put the cross in, and it's just this movement here. There. It's so clever from Venables. And then for me, the man of the match so far, who's made so many things happen, gets the goal. Just that little there. That may have been a foul last year. And again, with earlier on when Venables had his chance, I think the two centre-halves have got to be a bit stronger there. It's too easy with them to be bullied by Venables on 2 occasions.
I was about to ask you about Mendes' performance earlier. He's been solid defensively. He's looked a nuisance offensively, and he's just grabbed a goal as well. 3-0 Bala Town, and Newtown's terrible record against Bala looks set to continue tonight. Yeah, Mendes has been done all right tonight.
He's worked exceptionally. He covers ground. There's times he makes runs where he goes and he presses when he's got no chance of getting there. But, you know, there's an over-enthusiasm at the time, but incredible athlete who gets up and down the pitch, arrives in the box, and again he's shown tonight something I didn't see, with that bit of quality across his body onto his left foot and found a perfect pass for Edwards.
And there he is again, winning the header. I'm not a mind reader, but I'm guessing what Chris Hughes is going to say after the game about some of the decisions. We'll see the goal again in a minute, I'm sure. Chance to see the replay. They'll claim there was a push by Venables. And interestingly, the other side, a push on Anthony Kay a few minutes earlier, gets a free kick, and then something similar maybe, or am I reading too much into it?
No, I think you're right, Dylan, but I still think the chance that Venables had when he's bullied Sears and then Sutton there, you can't allow that to happen. You're a centre-half, you're up against Venables, you have to be more physical and let him know, and he's just bullied the pair of them on 2 occasions.
Long throw again. Ramsey out again. And Venables was up. He was going for the header when the incident happened. Oh, he'll compete for everything all day long.
He will do. But for me, is Sutton side on, and he's got his left hand in Venables' face. He stops Venables taking charge of him, and it's just poor again. There, he's done it exactly again there, and that time to see. It's just too clever for them.
Feels like a big result already for Bala Town. 25 minutes to go. But you just can't see Newtown getting back into it. Famous last words, obviously, as Rushton bursts through. He's waiting for support. Williams was there. But so were half of the Bala defence. Back in numbers. And Dave Edwards sees it out. Frustrating night for Newtown.
And a reflection of the first half. Excellent start, 2-0 down. Excellent start by Newtown. Totally dominating the game. And again, got done with a sucker punch. You know, credit to Colin.
We're back Tuesday night, more live football. Pen-y-bont at home to Haverfordwest. I wonder what he's watching. Scorio on the iPad, I'd have thought. Who knows? Great to see all ages here watching tonight. It's still holiday season, I suppose. With plenty of children here at Bala. Here come Bala again, 3-0 up. Oh, they're sensing blood now. Mendes on the far post. Both teams are looking for the first win. Newtown still looking for their first goal. Bala looking for their fourth of the night. It drops. Wall from distance. Well, it lands. There's all sorts of bodies in the way. Shannon, offside in the end. Mentioned that game Tuesday night, Pen-y-bont against Haverfordwest. Coming up next for, well, everybody's playing Tuesday night, so more fixtures coming thick and fast as Newtown try again. But Kate steps in again. So Bala, it's Connors Key away for them Tuesday night. Then they got Aberystwyth away and Pontypridd at home. Next up for Newtown, that could be more telling maybe. It's Caernarfon Tuesday night. They're at home against Caernarfon, then away to Haverfordwest, and then they face Connors Key at home. So Caernarfon, Haverfordwest and Connors Key coming up next for Newtown. It seems a tough run of games there coming up for Chris Hughes.
Right across the board, though, you know, I looked at the fixtures at the beginning of the season for Connors Key, and I don't know where you see those games now. where you think there's a run of games where we can win them. It's challenging every single week. You know, Flint stepped up for two wins in 2 games.
I was about to mention Flint, exactly. When you saw all the changes in the summer, Lee Fowler coming in, nearly 15 new players, you're thinking, oh, they're going to take time to settle. And they just won their first 2 games as Bala, look again, bursting through. Jones has done enough. But yeah, when you see Flint picking up 6 points straight away, you're starting to think, where are these easy games? They don't exist.
No, they don't. It's very, very challenging. Again, a great chance again there, you know. Too easy again, just a physical contact, I think, between Callum and Luke Wall, and I think it's just too strong, you know. Great opportunity again.
Yeah, when you see it there again.
Just leaning into him.
No, not a foul. Bala seems to be the stronger in these 50-50 challenges. Just a couple of games in Cymru North. There's a few games in the Cymru North. A couple of them 0-0. Buckley and Llandudno 0-0. Conwy Borough, Colwyn Bay 0-0. Holywell 3-0 up away at Cem Druids. Llanidloes 2-0 up at home against Rhythyn. Penryn Coch and Chirk 1-1. Penryn Coch down to 10 men. Games in the south as well tonight. Afon Lidos 6-1 up against Swansea University. Bala Town 5, Abergavenny 1. Bali will be delighted with that. Britton Ferry going well early doors. 3-0 up against Llantwit Major, the team that finished top last season but couldn't get promotion because of the licence situation, and they've lost some of their players, well, a lot of their players as well. Carmarthen 2, Trevellyn 1, Llanelli 1-0 up against Ynys Hir. Tafswell 4, Pontardawe 1, and Cambrian and Clydach 2, Ammanford 0 at the minute. Games galore, and we're following them all here on Sgorio. Arsan with a run, Kay from distance slows down. I thought for a second he was going to smash one. Bala 3-0 up. Edwards flicks it on. Must be a nice position to be in when you're 3-0 up.
Yeah,
20 minutes to go.
When it gets to about 78, it's a lot more comfy.
Yeah, do you relax? Did you relax?
You don't. No, you don't. You don't. 3-0 up, maybe with 5 or 6 minutes left, and then you're just thinking that's job done. By the time they kick off again, if we play it down, then most will get. And you're honest, you never stop thinking as a manager on the sideline. Colin won't be at this moment. You'll know how important that next goal comes for Newtown. It's game on again.
Well, it's in the wrong half right now for Newtown. No doubt about that. Ollie Southern. Back to Kay. Kay with a clever flick. He saw the run. Newtown dealing with it. Sutton just can't get out at the minute. You watch football at all levels, Andy. You're here tonight. Man City tomorrow. Back to Sri Lanka in a few weeks. It's a different game all around the world, different levels, but are there similarities wherever you're watching football as well?
There's key moments in games wherever you are, and that's the difference, you know, and you're looking for a bit of quality, but I just think more time you ask questions of the opponents, and I think that's the difference tonight. Bala put balls in behind, into the box, and they've had runners, and that's been the difference, because for me, Newtown, if you look at the stats tonight, it's probably 68 to 75% possession to Newtown, but it shows the way the game is. It's about them key moments, and tonight Bala have been better at them moments.
Ollie Southern there again. He's had a very good night for Bala, coming into the team, starting tonight. A few changes from the weekend. Colin Caton keen to mention the injuries earlier. Kieran Smith missing out, Paul Rutherford missing out as well. Torres not available. Luke Wall coming in, Ollie Southern coming in. They've done very well tonight for Colin Caton.
Yeah, when them players come back as well, it's a formidable squad. It's a top 3 squad for me at Collins, and he'll still be looking to get a couple of players in maybe before the window shuts.
What do you make of the fact, not just in this league, all around Europe, well, some countries the window shuts, but the season starts and clubs are still dealing?
I don't like it, and I think a lot of clubs would prefer it not to and get their business done, you know, because it does disrupt. Managers are happy when it's over with. They know they're settled down. Nobody can take their players, and they can focus on the group they've got.
Absolutely. You think Brendan Rodgers must be tearing his hair out at Leicester City right now. Fofana, Maddison, they're all being linked with the moves away. Tielemans as well. They could lose 3 of their best players. They might stay, of course, but does that cause problems in its own way if players that want to move suddenly end up not getting their move?
Yeah, absolutely. But, you know, I think there's a bit more power with the clubs. You know, the players can't, you know, you look at the money that's been offered for Fofana, but Leicester are saying, no, this is what if you don't pay it, he won't be going. The same with the young lad at Everton, you know, who Chelsea are chasing. This is what we say, and if you don't get it, we won't do business with you. So this
seems fair enough as well.
It does, yeah. No club will be bullied, but if the money's right, the player will move.
Seems to be the case, and that seems to be a foul. Hughes. And it's not a massive surprise that we're seeing a yellow card. I haven't seen was that first yellow card of the night, I think. Double check. I'm pretty sure that's the first yellow card we've seen tonight.
Great play from Wall. Luke Wall's done really well tonight.
He has.
Been impressed with him. Yeah. I think it's his first start.
Yes, tonight. First start. He's come in the summer.
Yeah.
Widnes was his last club.
Excellent.
Fans of the league might remember him, as you mentioned, Andy, with the Bangor.
Yeah, I think he went to Gibraltar, Malta.
Yes,
he's been all over, a bit of a maverick, and he's found a place now at Bala.
We'd like to speak about the red wall in Wales, the Welsh football fans, but Bala have got their own wall. He's done well. Looks like there's going to be a few changes from the Newtown side, so we'll get confirmation in a minute as Dave Edwards picks it up. Still 1-1 at Park Hall. TNS against Connors Quay. And we could be, if it finishes like that. Great point away from home for Connors Quay, even though they did take the lead, and the New Saints could be facing one win in the first 3 games. It's a bit of a story, a slow burner, we'll say, for the New Saints.
I think especially with the, obviously getting the 92nd minute, Pen-y-bont, we've been devastated with that result, and, it's obviously goal scoring at the moment is a problem. And with the window shutting, I think they've got so many threats. I looked at their bench tonight, TNS, before we came, and the bench is incredible. It's so strong. So I think it's only a matter of time before they click.
On comes Chris Hesden, who started the last game. So Hesden is on for Wharton. And we also saw Matthew Jones, his first appearance, a summer signing from Aberystwyth. He's been injured, carrying a groin injury. So Matthew Jones coming in. Good signing for Newtown. Big loss for Aberystwyth. Matthew Jones, 10 goals, all comps last season, 10 assists as well. Can't see him changing this. Well, he might do. It could be one of the most dramatic substitute appearances we've ever seen, but it would have to be one of those.
I think with the stats-driven world we live in now, I think them figures you just spoke about, a team that only stayed up with 10 goals and 10 assists, that tells you, it's a very, very talented young man.
Yeah, they've lost Lee Jenkins as well, the centre-back. Somebody from Aberystwyth. They're all very neutral in this league, but your hometown club, you tend to concentrate. They've lost some big players this summer. The guys that scored and assisted and the defenders. So they'll sign, they'll do their best, but it's going to be a long old season maybe for Aberystwythers. Newtown try again to get something from this game. 15 minutes to go. You can't see it happening, but you never know. One goal could make the difference. And Matthew Jones creates something. Plenty of room on the edge of the box. A wild shot from Walker. Over it goes. Never really convincing.
No, he stepped inside Jones nicely. And once you go that central from here, Jones here steps inside really well. Once you go in there, your only option is a shot. You're going to be closed down, and you've got to hit the target. I'll prefer the ball going into the box me when I got 4 in there. I think it's very difficult once you go central.
The red shirts were queuing up, waiting for it. 15 to go, 3-0. Bala Town on 3 points. Getting closer. Second against third last season. Bala dominating, they're looking for another one. Wall's through! He's offside in the end. That would have capped a top performance from Luke Wall, but it's not to be. Still another good move from Bala Town.
Yeah, they're great from the referee. He's allowed the advantage to come through. There's a foul here, but he's allowed the advantage to go. Clever ball. But I don't know, I'd like to see that again, where he's run from.
That's the one thing. You'll get them tomorrow. You'll get those VAR lines at Man City tomorrow.
I'd like to see that one again.
It would have been close.
Where he's run from, it's a very clever ball.
Roberts, has he kept it in? I think he has. Robles Can he create something from nothing from his team? Roberts kept it in. Venables for once. His touch lets him down. Craig Williams. 4 red shirts waiting for this one in the middle. Matty Jones edge of the box as well. Receives the ball. Jones fancies his chances. Well, he has done that in the past. In his days at Aberystwyth, he's got it in his locker, as they say, but not tonight.
What you'll see is Aaron Williams and Robles pulling their hair out in the box, because again, as this chance here. Yeah, he's offside. Great decision from the lines. But that last moment there, once Williams comes back inside and into Jones, you've got the 2 strikers. By the time you come back in, the centre halves are set and they can pin the strikers. At that initial movement, the ball has to go in the box for them to get their runs. And again, that's twice now from the other side and then from the right-hand side.
Great leap from Venables. Onto ball again. Mendes causing problems. Still there. Venables couldn't connect. Well, he could connect, but he couldn't get it on target. And they're breaking through now. Is it because Newtown have got to take more risks?
Yeah, they're just... Perhaps the best way I could describe it is maybe Bala just a little bit more streetwise tonight than Newtown.
We've got a substitution from Bala Town, and a goal scorer is leaving. Ollie Shannon. Well, we watched this again all day long. Lovely flick there from Shannon. That made it 2-0. That's his second of the season. As you said earlier, Andy, we come to think of him as more of a defensive player, maybe a full-back, but he's certainly contributing.
Makes really aggressive runs forward, with intent. They're not drifting. When he goes, and it's hard to track them runs.
And on comes James Davis against his former club as well.
Venables just dropping back into midfield and Davis going high.
Well, he's got some pace, James Davis. Didn't really click last season amongst the goals, that is, but he's so dangerous. Scored some big goals for Cem Druids. Took them to Europe. And for Newtown as well. He loves the playoffs, does James Davis. He's got some pace as well. Newtown.
Great header, Pete.
Newtown just hoping something goes their way as Mendes. Well, I think he's aiming for our Welsh language commentary team there for a minute. Wayne Phillips up there. Wayne used to play for Wrexham, he'll be fine. He's still got the touch. That was a bit of a wild one from Mendes. Speaking to Wayne earlier. Former Wrexham player, of course. I'll just wait, see how this develops. Roberts. I think Matty Jones had a few touches since coming on. Lovely pass back to Williams from Roberts. Williams, strong. Keeps the move going. Nearly landed on the far post. Couldn't get there. Corner to Newtown. 10 to go. Well, we do get a lull in play. I was going to ask about some behind-the-scenes documentaries, which is a lot of them popping up in football at the minute. Newtown desperate for something, anything. Sears is in there. Pete clears. And he's there again. Nathan Pete. Roberts. And now James Davis, the sub. Through it goes. Luke Wall. Wall against Jones. Luke Wall, a heavy touch. Gifted it to the goalkeeper. He'll be disappointed.
I think that's fatigue. And I think you'll probably see him maybe a bit of cramp. He's late on in the game. He's not been, played a lot of football. And, the keeper's just stretching him out there. I think he's cramped up.
You wouldn't be helping him if he'd scored, I don't think.
That's for sure.
That's a thank you for giving him the ball. Newtown still going. 10 to go. 3-0 here. There's a goal at Park Hall. The New Saints have scored. The New Saints 2, Connors Quay 1. John Routledge has grabbed it with 10 minutes to go. Craig Harrison against his former club. Back with his former club, if that makes sense. The former TNS manager back with TNS. Just left Connors Quay a few weeks ago. Well, he'll be delighted. Connors Quay took the lead in that game. I think nearly everybody involved in that game.
Yeah, both managers were assistants, and 2 great guys. And yeah, that's Gibb will be disappointed going 1-0 up. And Craig, you know, the 2 goals, they haven't scored enough goals, but once they click, they're going to be very, very hard to stop this season.
Well, it feels like that, because talking earlier about they haven't been looking at their best, but they've scored a late goal against Pen-y-bont to take the 3 points, and looks like they're going to come back from being 1-0 down tonight against Connors Key of all people to take the 3 points. Bala looking for another one. Sutton does enough, gets his head to it. Still there. Bala and Venables. Well, the ball had gone. It was Venables and George Hughes having their own little wrestling match.
I think there's a foul. They thought there's a foul there, and again, it's just too strong for Venables. They're really clever. And what you'll find is, as the season goes on, you know your referees, and you know when you're coming with Nick Pratt, you know you're going to have to be strong as a defender, and you're going to have to be physical, because he's going to let things go. And you know where you stand, and that's all you ask for. And I've been really, really impressed with the referee tonight.
Venables peels away, far post. Nobody there in the end. We've seen the replays, we've seen the decisions. None of them seem controversial, really.
No, the third...
Chris Hughes won't agree, but they look fair enough.
The third goal is just really clever. You can't get square as a defender, you're side on. And like I say, Sutton's left hand should be up and around Venables' face, just to put him off and to affect him. And he's got square, and Venables is too clever and just nudged him. And I like to see it, I really do, because I think that's what people want to see. They want to see physicality, you know, as long as it's controlled. And I think tonight the referee has managed it excellently.
Now then, the substitute, El Amri, Suleiman El Amri. He's got an interesting background. He's come from, well, he's been in Italy, 4th tier of Swiss football. He's joined from a team called FC Paradiso. And my claim to fame is, that's what our 5-a-side team was called back in the day. FC Paradiso. Suleiman El Amri from the 4th division in Switzerland to Bala Town. Interesting. We'll wait and see what he's got to offer this season. He's got 7 minutes to make an impression here tonight. And when you're coming on, when you're 3-0 up, it's a nice time to come on as a sub, I'm sure. Oh, they're nearly through again. James Davis. He had to check his run. But Davis to the substitute.
Perfect.
Takes a deflection. So.
Yeah, just run the game down. Nobody will be rushing to take this. Clever play from Davis.
It's another decent signing by Kate. Didn't you think James Davis, if he's coming in as a squad player, well, to start off as a squad player, he's got to prove his worth, obviously, when he got Venables and Mendes and these guys, and Luke Wall playing like this.
He has a quality which all teams need, and that's to stretch the opposition. You can't get a better scenario than this 3-0 up, sit in, and then you've got somebody willing to stretch the opposition. He can certainly do that.
Yeah, they come again. Bala Town looking for a 4th. Crowd of players. El Amri tries his luck. He hit the target. That'll do. Dave Jones behind it. Oh, some kick as well. High up the field. Rhys Hesden got a touch. El Amri, Dave Edwards, Ollie Southern. Back they go. Great night for Bala Town. Into the last 5 minutes here. 3-0 up. Louis Robles. Nice touch by Robles on a frustrating night. Forced back. George Hughes. Tidy in midfield as usual. Hughes. And at times, Newtown, they've looked fine. They've looked dangerous, but they just haven't threatened the goal. Nice build-up, lively starts. But moments, as you said, Andy, key moments, and they've all gone Bala's way.
Yeah, if it was a possession-based game, then Newtown win it comfortably, but it's not. And them key moments, that energy and that quality has been the difference tonight.
I did ask Chris Hughes. It was slightly tongue-in-cheek. Are you worried? 2 games, no goals, but now 3 games if he finishes like this, no goals. Now will he be worried?
No. Chris will never worry, you know. Yeah, he'll be comfy with his squad. Probably, as any manager, will want to bring a couple of players in before it finishes. But he knows how strong this squad is. It's the strongest squad he's ever had. And they will get it right. And it will take time. And they will click eventually.
Well, James Davis again in behind the defence. Andy Morrison next to me in commentary tonight. He's mentioned the pace. We're seeing glimpses of it. Mind you, when you're coming on in your team of 3-0 up, it does help.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, there's space in behind, and James Davis needs that, and he will run. And twice now he's gone on the outside, which has produced corners. And, you know, in them final moments, I love players to go on the outside, because the end product is normally you'll keep a...
Newtown clear, but they're under pressure. Bala enjoying these final minutes. Mendes clips it in. Still TNS 2, Connors Key 1 at Park Hall. As Newtown trying to move it quickly upfield. More to come tomorrow in the Cymru Premier as Robles flicks it past Edwards. Lovely from Robles. Can he go all the way? Louis Robles. That came to a stop. Nathan Pete does the job. Enough is enough, says Pete. Davis again full of running since coming on as a substitute. So tomorrow in the Cymru Prem, Carnarvon home to Cardiff Met. That's a fascinating one. Met 2 wins out of 2. Haverfordwest home to Airbus. 2 defeats for Airbus. Pen-y-bont face Flint. Flint with 100% records. And Pontypridd welcome Aberystwyth to their ground. And even at this stage in the season, Pontypridd have lost 2. Aberystwyth have just been thumped 4-0 by Cardiff Met. That feels like an important game for both teams. Arsan turning well away from Hesdon, teammates last year. And Arsan and James Davis joining in the summer. And that run is going to continue. Bala against Newtown, 1 defeat in 14 before tonight, and it's going to be 15 as Matty Jones tries to change the stats about conceding. Bala have won their last 3 games against Newtown without conceding a goal. They're about to make it 4 without conceding a goal. And Newtown are about to make it 3 games without scoring at the start of this season. Unless they can grab something. It would only be a consolation, but even that might help at this stage of the proceedings. As Andy Morrison has said, Chris Hughes won't panic. He's had so many highs in his 9 years at Newtown. Into the playoffs constantly. Europe as well. And as you've said, Andy, when you look at the squads, they're not going to be far off. Okay, they might not be challenging the new Saints at the top, we'll see, but they're not going to be... It's the best of the rest sometimes. And Newtown is certainly one of those.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think both these teams firmly make the top 6 this year. Difficult start for Newtown, and Colin will be delighted with 4 points. And there's a foul there.
Yeah,
we're giving them now. But no, Colin will be delighted with this result tonight, especially with 3 or 4 players that are missing.
It's interesting, some teams that missed out on top 6. And there's the Mendes goal. He's had a decent... Oh, it's his night has come to an end. I was thinking, there he goes, off he goes.
I think if it's a bottle of champagne, I think he'll be getting it. It'll be interesting to see which way Wayne, if he's choosing it tonight.
Oh, there you go. As you spoke, man of the match, Losana Mendes. Andy Morrison certainly agrees with that decision. It's going to be the top 6 battle. We've seen Met already looking strong. Haverfordwest have strengthened. Some clubs have certainly strengthened. Carnarvon might be one. They're going to have to battle hard to keep their place in that top 6. I was going to dismiss Flint at one point, saying they're never going to make the top 6 when I saw all the changes, but they've won their first 2 games, so who knows? Pontypridd and Airbus, the new clubs look like they're going to struggle. Aberystwyth, could be a long season for them as well.
Yeah, and the new lads who come up, Pontypridd, you know, they're going to see just how the gulf between, you know, the league below and this is huge. And they're going to, you know, but they'll have their good times in the season, you know, when they'll take a bit of time to get used to it. The physicality, the speed, the fitness levels are so much different. You know, we played Trefellyn and Airbus last year and we put 6 and 4 against them. You know, you can just see the gulf is huge.
Callum Roberts lifts it in. Newtown still looking for that first goal as Sears climbs. And also with a club like Pontypridd, they go out and sign Clayton Green. a player so familiar with this league, a big, strong guy in midfield, and he's suspended at the start of the season, so they haven't even got some of their new players around to help them.
Yeah, he'll play a big part in that. Probably a little reflection of the game there in general. Sears should score. Sears should hit the target. He's got 3 or 4 run-up. He's got a bit of freedom and missed the target. Give Pete a bit of credit for being clever and just cutting him off at the last moment. But he should score, or he should get an opportunity on goal there.
El Amri battling again, keen to make an impression. The new player on a sub.
I tell you, Kay as well wouldn't have been far off man of the match. Mendes, yes, but Kay at 39 to go into midfield when he is a centre half, to cover the ground he has tonight and really dictated what was happening in front of. I just saw him a couple of seconds ago, communicating and talking to the substitute that came on, and just organising relentlessly. Fantastic.
Few Bala Town supporters making their way to the clubhouse. All smiles here. Nice tailgate tonight. No surprise. If you were in charge of this team, Andy, if you were Colin Caton, you've been enjoying this, I'm sure.
Oh, it's a massive. Like you're going to Connors Quay on Tuesday. The importance of this game, it sets you up. You know, it doesn't create complacency, but it just takes that edge off. Like you say, it might have a couple of players back, and you don't want to lose this one tonight. Then go into Connors Quay, because you know they're one of the teams that are going to be challenging you for them European positions.
Bala again, still pressing. El Amri, the substitutes. Just to remind you, born in Italy, came from Switzerland, 4th division. I know you wonder, you wouldn't be full of, well, I was going to say, to assess the game. We won't bother assessing the game because it's the final score. 3-0 Bala Town as Colin Caton walks away. 3-0, 3 points. Big night for Bala, Andy.
Massive game, massive night for Bala. Those 3 points are huge. Like I say, with the injury list they've got going into the Connors Quay game, Colin will be absolutely delighted tonight, and credit to them. Just a little bit more streetwise and more physical than Newtown tonight.
Andy, it's been an absolute pleasure to have your company here tonight with Scorio. Enjoy Man City tomorrow, and see you after you come back with Sri Lanka. Great to have Andy Morris.
Diolch yn fawr I Wayne Phillips a Bryn Thomas. Tair gol i'r Bala fan hyn ar faith tegid a'i triphwynt cynta nhw o'r tymor. Felly bydd y goliaeth I dîm Colin Caton a'r Seintiau Newydd. Nhw'n ennill I gêm nhw o 2 gol I 1 ar neuadd y parc. Michael Wilde, Declan McManus a wedyn I John Routledge yn sicrhau'r triphwynt i'r Seintiau Newydd. A jyst I ni gael cipolwg cyflym iawn ar y tabl o siwr mae pethau'n siapo Seintiau Newydd. Wel, mae hwnna'n olwg cyfarwydd. Mae nhw ar frig y tabl ar ôl I fuddugoliaeth nhw heno yma. A wedyn y Bala yn codi i'r 4yd safle. Wel, dwi'n falch iawn o gael cwmni Dave Edwards. Dave, it's great to have your company. You came very quick then. I'm impressed. Yeah. I can imagine there's quite a sense of relief after that result, after what's been a bit of a tricky start to the season for Bala.
Yeah, it's been a poor start. After the highs of Europe and the performances we did and the work ethic we showed away at Sligo, to then dip our performances, especially the first game again down in Pen-y-bont, we were really poor that day. And then first half last week as well, so we needed a big reaction today. 3 points is massive for us tonight.
I've got to ask, I was talking with Wayne Phillips before the game. There was a sense that there may have been a bit of a European hangover after the European games, but you seem to have shook that one off tonight.
Hopefully, yeah. We try not to. We try and put our best possible attitude, but for whatever reason, we weren't at the races those first 2 games, and we know we've got the quality in the dressing room. It's just about how we approach every game with our work ethic, our desire. That's what Bala Town's all about, is sort of running teams into the ground. And first and foremost, we have to do that. I thought right from the first whistle we did that. And when we do that, we can beat any team in this league.
I've got to ask you about your goal, your first goal of the season, but also what an assist by Mendes. That wasn't too bad, was it?
I know. I seen the run, I seen the space. I was trying to look at, without shouting too loud, I was just trying to catch his eyes, and Lasser's got loads and loads of quality. We see it every time we train. And if anyone's going to pick me out, it was going to be Lasser. It was a beautiful ball. Then I just got to concentrate on trying to hit the target. That's all I was thinking, not necessarily going for the corners, just keep the ball down, and luckily it went in.
And Dave, you know, Newtown, they caused you problems in the first half, but then a quick second goal after your opener, and then you saw the game out pretty comfortably in that second half. Yeah,
I think the timings of the goal were really important. When we get our nose in front, we know we can be strong, but to follow it up and make it 2-0, then all of a sudden the pressure's on Newtown, so we know we'll get chances on the counter-attack with the pace we've got in the team as well. And I know Newtown maybe could have got a couple of goals, but we could have had 5 or 6 as well. So we're happy with the clean sheet, happy with the 3 goals, and a bit of confidence now going into Tuesday.
Well, the games come thick and fast now, Dave. How much confidence will you take from this win this evening?
Yeah, it's just nice to get off the ball. We had a really slow start last year. We drew the first 3 games, so 3 games in, we got 4 points, so 1 point more than then. So hopefully we can be a little bit more consistent and say we know we can beat anyone in this league if we apply ourselves right and we're fit and we go for it. So yeah, really confident now.
Well, Dave, really appreciate your time. Thank
Cheers.
you very much.
Cheers,
We'll see you soon.
Thank you. Cheers.
Wel, cofiwch nos lun fe fydd holl uchafbwyntiau'r penwythnos yn RS4C. Nos lun am hanner awr wedi 9 ac eto nos Fawrth am hanner awr wedi 6. Digon o bêl-drod ar eich cyfer chi, a wedyn ni y gêm nesa, y gêm fyw nesa ar sgorio ar-lein nos Fawrth yn hanner awr wedi 7 Pen-y-bont yn erbyn Hwlffordd. Wel, dyna ni am heno o faes tegid. Triphwynt cyda'r tymor i'r Bala, ond mae dechreuad y dre newydd i'r tymor yn mynd o ddrwg i wath. Mynd i nôl nos Fawrth, ond tan hynny, nos da.